It was a long night at the Coliseum just 13 days ago as the Los Angeles Raider defense overwhelmed quarterback Dan Fouts and the Charger offense. The Raiders sacked Fouts 5 times in the first half. San Diego was never in the game. With Marcus Allen busting into the end zone 3 times, the Raiders rolled to a 7th straight win over San Diego, 34-21. Today, they're ready to meet again. They're ready to meet in beautiful San Diego, California, where Jack Murphy Stadium is sold out for this 52nd renewal of a long-time matchup dating back to the old American Football League. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. An overcast, rather cool day in San Diego. It's going to be interesting to see which Raider and which Charger team shows up, Trump. A week ago, they were in different form from that Monday night meeting. The Chargers blew out Denver, their best performance in recent years, really. And the Raiders were embarrassed at Seattle.
Don, I was very impressed with the Chargers' performance last week against the Denver Broncos. They did it running the ball. As an example, an old college play, a play that Don Coryell used to use in junior college, a pitch by Buford McGee to Gary Anderson, the option, and Anderson scores his 5th touchdown in 4 games as a San Diego Charger as they just embarrassed the Denver Broncos. And as good as their performance was, the Los Angeles Raiders against the Seattle Seahawks in the Kingdome, that's a place they don't like to play, had the ball bounce against them. This pass from Craig off the face mask of Mike Haynes into the hands of Darrell D.P. Turner, and 33-3 was the final score. They didn't play well at all.
Well, the Raiders have beaten the Chargers 7 straight times, and L.A.'s favorite again today. Howie Long, the all-pro defensive end, said maybe the Chargers better bring guns if they plan to beat us today.
They may need them. They got to protect Fouts to win.
Well, the Chargers had a lot of offense geared up. They looked good last week. It might be a real good one here at San Diego.
Brought to you by the Marines. Today, celebrating 210 proud years of history. By Canon. So advanced, Canon is the world's leader in 35mm photography. And by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. To arrange a thorough test drive, simply phone your nearest BMW dealer.
The lights are on, but there's no threat of rain as Coach Tom Flores and his Raiders have come down to San Diego. The 52nd meeting over the years between these two teams. Don Coryell, his spirits greatly picked up by that showing last week, but this is the big one. Now the Chargers kick it off. The ball's hit well downfield by Moshenko. And out of the end zone where Fulton Walker watches it go out for the touchback. And so the Raiders will go on offense, 1st and 10. Mark Wilson at quarterback. He is 5-1 as a starter since Jim Plunkett was hurt. Wilson's quarterbacking numbers not that good, but he has been a winner. And of course he has the superb Marcus Allen in his backfield. With Todd Christensen, the leading AFC receiver at tight end. The speed is Hester and Williams on the flanks. Offensive line is very big. And they've got to hold off a San Diego defense that could come a blitzing over the slightly immobile Mark Wilson, still with a bit of a bad ankle. Handoff, and Marcus Allen breaks the crust and takes the ball to the 28-yard line. Defensively, the San Diego Chargers are fairly young. They've got some new people in position. Lee Williams and Earl Wilson, the defensive ends. Wilson, a first-year player from Kentucky. Derry Nelson's a starter inside linebacker for Mike Green. Billy Ray Smith is the leading tackler for the Chargers. And a couple of rookies in the San Diego secondary, and John Henry and Jeffrey Dale. They think Dale is going to be a standout. A hitter from LSU. 2nd and 1 after the 9-yard carry. Marcus Allen looks like he might have gotten to the first down mark, but no farther as Nelson, a linebacker from Nebraska, threw him back.
Interesting replacement here. Derry Nelson playing Mike Green hurt. Last time these two teams met, Mike Green had 11 unassisted tackles. The leading tackler in that particular ball game for the San Diego Chargers. Billy Ray Smith with 13. They were very busy 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles.
It was really an overmatch. The Charger lines could not contend with their Raider counterparts. Raider offensive line, a huge one. Here's a handoff, and Allen is knocked down on a 1st down play. Lee Williams, who came out of the U.S. Football League, makes the stop from defensive end.
Don, one thing I'll guarantee you, the Raiders will continue to give the ball to Marcus Allen. In 7 games against the Chargers, number 32 has scored 14 touchdowns, 3 2 weeks ago.
San Diego defense has come on, though, in the recent weeks. In the first 4 games, they had only 7 sacks. Since Dave Adolph has taken over as defensive coordinator, they have 17 sacks to the Chargers in the last 5 games. And Wilson will probably be putting it up now on 2nd down and 12. Big rush. And he just throws it away. Nearest man to the ball was a San Diego Charger. Gil Byrd coming up on it. Lee Williams and Keith Ferguson were putting the rush on Mark Wilson.
Now, that was an interesting choice by the Los Angeles Raiders. The last time these two teams met, the Los Angeles Raiders tight end Todd Christensen just ate him up over 130 yards in receptions. And I noticed that time they at least held him up at the line of scrimmage. You can see, as you mentioned, Don, the improvement in the defense over the last 5 games. They hope it goes to the 6th.
Well, it's a 7-game win streak for the Raiders over San Diego, and they've also had a big success run here at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. 13-4-1 are the Raiders since it opened.
Christensen uncovered, Don.
Coming out now as Wilson takes a look on 3rd and 12. He gets it away downfield. Christensen has the ball at the 47-yard line. He was indeed uncovered, Trump, and it's an 18-yard gain and a 1st down.
That is absolutely a big mistake in the design of the defense. A player like Todd Christensen, with his speed, with his ability to read defenses, there's no one in front of him. If they just hold him up for a split second at the line of scrimmage, you see they're running a total zone there. They got to have somebody in his face or he'll kill you all day long.
They had a big rush on Wilson, almost got him, but as you saw, he did release the ball. And so Todd Christensen, leading receiver in the AFC, gets a big 3rd down catch for 18 yards, and the Raiders move on in this scoreless game. First quarter. Doki Williams can't handle it at the 37-yard line of San Diego. Lyndon King was coming on a blitz. They picked him up, though, but they're putting pressure on Wilson every way they can. The scoreboard is coming in with some finals now from the East. And this, the 10th Sunday of play, the Chicago Bears extend their season record to a perfect 10-0, beating Detroit. Seattle starting to come on again now in the AFC West, an easy winner. Tampa Bay defeated St. Louis for its first win of the season. Green Bay came from way behind to beat Minnesota at Minneapolis. On 2nd and 10, Marcus Allen looks for some room and got ahead for about 3. Coming up to get him was the middle guard Chuck Ian and Billy Ray Smith, the inside linebacker, 78 and 54. So the ball is advanced just across midfield. 3rd down now arises for the Raiders. 3rd and about 7, and they love to go to Christensen here, Trump.
Yeah, and San Diego must cover him when they come in with a 5 and 6 defensive back set. They got to have somebody on his nose just to destroy the timing of the pattern. Christensen, far side of the field. Twin wide receivers here, Moffitt and Hester.
Stadium sold out. San Diego fans starting up now. And the play whistle dead before the snap of the ball.
Too much time.
That'll make it 3rd down and 12 if that's the call.
Delay of the game by the offense. Still 3rd down.
Now the Raiders came with Doki Williams in the backfield there, trying to run motion, put pressure, release somebody, find single coverage on one of their wide receivers. They had Moffitt, Hester, Doki Williams, all 3 in the game at once.
Red Cashin, our referee, Coach Flores, said after that debacle at Seattle, the 33-3 loss, he wasn't even sure what all went wrong. And they looked at the films, everything did. And he said he knew those Charger coaches were going to be looking at him and finding the weak points. Right now, though, it's 3rd down and 12 for the Los Angeles Raiders. Wilson gets time. Poorly thrown ball, but Doki Williams dives for it and gets it at the 40. It's a 1st down for the Raiders.
Nice catch.
Wobbly pass, but Doki Williams from UCLA dives for it. It's a 14-yard gain on 3rd and 12. And again, the Raiders hit on 3rd down.
Gil Byrd, the man in coverage. The Raiders just flooded the near side of the field. They had 3 receivers. Doki Williams in motion, ran a good out pattern. You're right, this ball not particularly well thrown by Mark Wilson, but Williams certainly goes after it.
Whatever it takes. Mark Wilson comes in, completing just 47% of his passes. He's thrown for 5 touchdowns. He's been intercepted 9 times. But he's done well, and at least he did in the first meeting with San Diego. Here's a pitch to Marcus Allen. Whoa. And Allen, a native of San Diego, darts inside the 30. He's down to the 28-yard line for yet another Raider first down.
One of the problems you have playing defense against the Los Angeles Raiders is that great team speed, the ability of Marcus Allen not only to run the ball but also catch the ball. In this particular play, Billy Ray Smith tied to Marcus Allen. He reads, is it going to be run? No, it's pass. And then all of a sudden they throw it to the guy they fake it to. And Marcus Allen made Billy Ray Smith look bad there.
And the Raiders drive on first down. Power football. Here comes Marcus Allen. He's down to the 25-yard line. A pickup of 4 on first down. Knocked down on the play. Made by Billy Ray Smith and John Hendy. The Cincinnati Bengals are coming on now as they go to 5-5, and the Browns lose their 4th straight game. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati tied for the AFC Central lead, both with 5-5 records. The Patriots broke open a game with Indianapolis and won. They're a hot club, 7-3. Wilson and the Raiders set up in this scoreless game with 9 minutes to play in the first quarter. Second down and 6. Wilson, a lot of time in the end zone is Jesse Hester, but the ball is intercepted. Danny Walters came up and he's got the ball. It is an interception, and the Chargers stop the Raider drive and take over the football. So with 8:52 to play in the first quarter, the Chargers get the ball.
From behind the offense, you get a complete look at this play. This first drive has been impressive. This is the 13th play of the drive. Robinson right in the face of Mark Wilson. Ball should not have been thrown. An excellent job of coverage and a great catch by Walters. This is exactly the way the Raiders played last week in Seattle. Drove it all the way up and down the field, then turned it over inside the 20.
They've been going at Danny Walters a lot this year, Trump, and he's made a lot of plays like that. His 3rd interception, he's been beat, but somehow he seems to recover a lot. Now, no numbers up yet on the scoreboard. Dan Fouts and the Chargers get set to go. And here's Gary Anderson, a sensational player. The Raiders cut him down after a gain of only 2 yards. The Chargers get 76% of their offense throwing the ball with Fouts at quarterback. Anderson and Tim Spencer, first-year players in the NFL, both standouts in the U.S. Football League. Wes Chandler's having a tremendous year at wide receiver for San Diego. Lachey, a rookie from Ohio State, the #1 draft choice of the Chargers. He's got a big assignment today. Howie Long's lined up across from him. Second down and a long 7. Out stands in, swings it out. Look at the move by Gary Anderson. What a football player. He's out to the 47-yard line.
Oh, did you see the block by Lionel James?
24 yards. Anderson, who scored 49 touchdowns in 3 U.S. Football League seasons. They say Dan Fouts just is awestruck in practice by the stuff they can do. Now he's doing it in games.
Well, one of the things the San Diego Chargers like to do is get their best people on the field. This is a great move. From inside, you'll see an outstanding block by Lionel James. Well, actually, Turan kind of fell down. That Anderson is slick.
24 yards he gained. He had 116 rushing against the Broncos last Sunday. Well, it's a free ball. It looks like the Chargers got it at the 45-yard line. Long to Kellen Alzado. We're told the Chargers might be trying to run a lot at Lyle Alzado. Then Pelt, Millen, the rookie McKenzie, and leading tackler Rod Martin back the line for Los Angeles. Hayes and Haynes at the corner. Hayes is going to see a lot of balls. Stacey Turan starts for injured Van McElroy, a player that the Charger coaches rate as maybe the best free safety in football. Van McElroy.
Here's his 3-back offense. Watch the pitch here.
Buford McGee keeps it himself. And on second down and about 11, he gets it across midfield and down to the 47-yard line of L.A. The Giants came from behind to beat the L.A. Rams. The Giants, with the victory, knocked the Rams record to 8-2. Buffalo won its second game with a shutout. They're starting to play defense under defensive specialist, their new head coach, Hank Bulla. Lionel James is now in the Chargers backfield. We're in the first quarter. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. It's sold out. San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. 6:35 to play in the first quarter. The Chargers stopped the Raider drive with a Danny Waller interception in the end zone of Mark Wilson. Swing pass here is Lionel Little Train James. Once he gets ahead up, he's a tough man to bring down. He's ahead for a Charger first down to the 40-yard line.
And you can see the mismatch. Reggie McKenzie, the inside linebacker. Now just Martin right in his face. Little Train James is, even though it lines up in the backfield, he's considered a wide receiver by the San Diego Chargers, Don.
Superb little player, an engineering student from Auburn. He blocked at Auburn for Bo Jackson 1 year. 5'6", 160 pounds. But he thinks big and plays big. And now Fouts takes a look deep. Man's open. Little Train James comes down with the ball at the 25-yard line. 14-yard gain, and now the Chargers move on, as this game's been like a track meet. They're both moving the ball.
Well, when San Diego is on, it's like a symphony. They really do march it up and down the field like there's nobody on the other side of the ball. That time, they had Mike Davis, 36, in coverage on James out of the backfield, and that's a mismatch. Strong safeties aren't used to covering little quick guys like that.
Atlanta came from 7 points down to tie the Eagles, then Philadelphia won it in overtime. First and 10 now for the Chargers. Fouts play fake and get some more time. Man is open. Anderson can't hold the ball at the 13-yard line. Gary Anderson had the linebacker Rod Martin hopelessly beaten. Dan Fouts would like to get a chance to do that over. You know they're going to be calling it again.
Well, I think the Los Angeles Raiders are very worried about that three-back offense, figuring that they're going to run it a lot. And out of the backfield, the receivers open all over the place. That's a tough catch. That's just one of those things that you can't blame the quarterback and you can't blame the receiver. Fouts 3 of 4 to this point. All passes to running backs.
Dan Fouts comes into the game with almost 36,000 yards passing for his career. Third all-time, the most of any active quarterback. Here's a pitch. Little Train James is inside the 20, and Lionel James takes the ball down to the Raiders' 17-yard line, where the strong safety Mike Davis knocked him down. But now the Chargers have mounted a threat. They're in field goal range.
He almost gets lost, doesn't he? 5'6 and a half, 160 pounds. You can't see him.
Be part of my dream backfield. Little Train James and William Perry.
Whoa.
Weighs exactly half what Perry weighs.
Which one would block for the other?
Either. They both can do both. Block it and run.
Look at this formation.
Both can catch it. Here's Fouts on 3rd and 3. A lot more time this time, and there is Winslow open, but the ball, as you see, comes in high.
That's one of the first times I've seen Kellen Winslow really show effects of that knee surgery. He landed on his right leg, tried to jump, really couldn't. Ball slightly overthrown by Dan Fouts. 2 years ago, I think he gets that pass. Let's watch. Maybe I'm too critical here, but you see the way he jumps? He doesn't jump much at all. Comes down very gently on his legs. Still coming back from that very serious knee injury.
Now Bob Thomas is in the game, the former Chicago Bear, their all-time leading scorer, cut in the preseason. He's been hitting the close-in field goals for San Diego. This one is spun up, and it looks like he's wide. He is. So the Chargers, like the Raiders, move down the field but get nothing. LA has it when we come back. The big money rollers will be at Indianapolis next Saturday on NBC Sports. Right now at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium on an overcast day with the lights on but really no threat of rain. The LA Raiders have the ball for a second time. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. There's no score on the board. Both teams drove on their opening possessions but could not get points. Marcus Allen, normally sure-handed, couldn't hold it, and all of a sudden the Chargers have it right back.
It certainly is a tremendous difference from the way the game started 2 weeks ago. You're right, Allen, normally very sure-handed, gifted receiver, motion by Hawkins. Looks to me like Allen takes his eye off of it. I think Wilson gets it in the right spot. Williams there to pick it up. 1st and 10 at the Raiders, 16 for the Chargers.
Raiders had a horrendous show last week. 5 turnovers. Wilson was intercepted 4 times. Blocked field goal was run back for a touchdown. Full house backfield now. Here's the handoff. Buford McGee's going to keep it himself, and he breaks the tackle to get down. Inside the 15 and down to the 10-yard line. He gained 6 before Reggie McKenzie ran him out. Buford McGee was a high school option quarterback. So was Lionel James, a trailer on the play.
Field position was in the first game a big detriment to the San Diego Chargers and a big asset to the Los Angeles Raiders. So far today, it's turned around. Absolutely turned around, and this game is starting exactly the way the game was played last week when the Raiders were in the Kingdome.
Second down and 4. Dan Fouts with time, but nobody to throw to. Here it is. Long coming in, and he puts it up, and it's caught for a touchdown. Wes Chandler with a Hall of Fame catch. One hand, and he got the feet in. And so the Chargers are on the board on an absolutely brilliant play by Wes Chandler, who, despite an Achilles tendon injury, is having one of his finest years.
And the key point is what you said was Fouts has time. Last time these two teams met, 5 sacks in the first half, 3 in the first quarter. Wes Chandler did not practice all week. Maybe he should never practice again with a catch like that.
That was something. In the end zone 6 times this season has Wes Chandler been. 40th reception, and the Chargers lead the favored Raiders 7-0 with 4:29 to play in the first quarter. Raiders with a tough one again next week as they go against the Bengals, who won big today. Don Coryell, the Chargers coach, said if you don't get out in front of this Raider team early, it turns into a pass rush drill, and the San Diego Chargers got out early.
That was pretty obvious 2 weeks ago. So far, 2 turnovers, both for the Los Angeles Raiders. This is very, very reminiscent of last week's performance against Seattle.
Moshenko with a line drive kickoff. It squibs into the end zone and out. And the Raiders will again have to go from their 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Well, they misfired last time. Marcus Allen dropping the ball, and the Chargers subsequently, after getting the fumble recovery, go in on a touchdown throw. Fouts to Wes Chandler. As good-looking a catch as we've seen all year.
And he can make the good-looking catch, too. I still harken back to the 1982 season for Wes Chandler. In 8 games, the guy goes over 1,000 yards. And he's not really measured up to those figures since, and he's personally trying to do better this year.
Right back to Marcus Allen. He breaks tackles, and look at Marcus Allen in open field across the 40, and finally they run him down, but he crosses midfield to the 49-yard line. A 31-yard gain, so they went right back to the money. He dropped the bag the last time, but this time Marcus Allen, who comes up limping, breaks a 31-yarder.
Jeff Dale on the tackle. This play is not designed to pick up 24 yards. It's a power sweep. See Mickey Marvin pulling. Allen just has the ability to wait in the hole and then accelerate away from the tacklers. And Los Angeles Raiders didn't like that hit by Jeff Dale out of bounds right in front of the bench.
First down and 10 for the Raiders. Play fake, and Mark Wilson with time to write a letter. Now he's got to hurry. They don't like him running, but this time he had to as he slides in at the 41-yard line of San Diego. Got a good gain on the play, a first down carry, about 8 yards. As the game clock's down to 3:50 to play in the first quarter.
Good coverage, though, by the San Diego Chargers. Mark Wilson had no one to throw it to, and the Raiders, as you said, don't like their quarterbacks running the football. He's banged up all over the place. They don't want to make it worse.
2 weeks ago, as we remember vividly, Todd Christensen had one of his best games, and he has one every week. This was really an outstanding game against San Diego. They're trying to cover him differently now, bumping him at the line, then picking him up with a bat. Marcus Allen can't hold the ball at the 40 on 2nd down and 4. This time, striped shirt helped take Christensen out.
But also watch at the outset of the play, he gets at least bumped by the outside linebacker. Now that will destroy some of the timing. Lyndon King, and then an assist to 78. And Todd Christensen is not open.
Umpire's a tough place to be. He's the guy that stands in behind the linebackers looking right at the quarterback. They get caught up in the wash a lot.
That's an illegal chuck, though. That should be 5 yards and a first down for the Raiders.
3 for 7 throwing the ball is Mark Wilson for 43 yards. And, of course, that one interception that stopped the opening drive when it looked like the Raiders were going to go into the end zone. Big rush. Wilson running for his life.
Oh.
He's down. Mark Wilson, playing with a partially separated shoulder, took a hard lick. Lee Williams and Earl Wilson keyed in on him, and also coming up was Wayne Davis, a rookie defensive back.
Wilson very slow getting up at the sideline. Raiders players over there to help out their quarterback as best they can. He had Tim Moffitt. He could have thrown it to him. Maybe at the top of the screen we'll be able to pick him out. I think Mark Wilson was worried that he had already crossed the line of scrimmage. See that hit by Davis? Wilson's wondering who's going to answer the phone there, because one's ringing.
Yeah, the way the ball is spotted out of bounds, though, it's a first down carry and fumble for the LA Raiders as the ball was advanced where it went out of bounds down to the 38-yard line of San Diego. With 3:15 to play in the first quarter, and the Chargers in the lead, 7-0. The Raiders now get set to go with 4 new downs. They've been down here before, you remember. Pitch back Marcus Allen. Good pursuit. He's cut down at the 35-yard line after a gain of 3 yards on the play. Billy Ray Smith and Gil Byrd knocked him down. Marcus Allen comes in as the focal point of the Raider offense. You see the over 800 yards rushing. He also came into the game with 36 receptions, averaging over 9 yards a catch. And he scored 8 of the Raiders' 20 touchdowns this season. Marcus Allen is it, and he loves to play in San Diego. Came to prominence here as a high school quarterback, an All-State quarterback at Lincoln High School before he went to Southern California. Second down now and 7 for the Raiders. They trail 7-0 in the first quarter.
Defense called a timeout.
So while there's a break in the action, we pause for this word. The extra point was good, and the Raiders had a 21-20 victory. And then Trump, they changed the rules.
It's called the Banaszak rule. You can't. The guy who fumbles it is the only one who can recover it.
Second down and 7 for Wilson and the Raiders. He's got time. He's got a man. Jesse Hester's in the end zone. Touchdown, Los Angeles. 35-yard scoring play as Hester, the rookie #1 draft choice from Florida State, turned down the deep heat and broke it into the end zone, and we're going to have a tie game if Chris Barr can hit the extra point.
Hester's second touchdown. He also beat a rookie, John Hendy. So far, the Chargers have not been able to put any pressure on Mark Wilson, and Hester runs an outstanding pattern. Boy, they're waiting for that guy to bust loose.
Over the years, the Raiders and the Chargers have been the highest scoring teams in the American Conference when they played each other. This is the highest scoring series. 7-7 now, depending on Chris Barr's conversion attempt. And so, with 3:03 to play in the first quarter, it's a 7-7 game.
Watch once again the time that Mark Wilson has to throw. Only rushed 3 people. He stands back there and waits. Hester, with outstanding speed, must have absolutely turned Hendy around. It wasn't even close. 6 points. Second touchdown of the year by the young rookie out of Florida State.
A Raider axiom, speed kills, and they love fast people. Shula says it's the fastest team in pro football, the LA Raiders.
John Hendy will agree with you right now.
John Henry was 5 yards back and watching that like the rest of us. Cincinnati now moves up to a 5-5 record with a defeat of Cleveland today. Pittsburgh tied with the Bengals for first place, a winner over Kansas City. The Giants beat the Rams 24-19. LA was an early leader in that game, and Chicago goes to a perfect 10-0 with another win today over Detroit at Soldier Field. Seattle starting to move now up to 6-4 in the AFC West with an easy win at New Orleans. And Tampa Bay, leading contender for Bo Jackson, gets its first win of the year. New England upped its record today to 7-3 with an easy win over Indianapolis. Green Bay was down 17-6 in that game and came back to beat the Minnesota Vikings. And Buffalo won its second game with a shutout of the Oilers.
Don, I noticed that Gary Anderson and Little Train James back there to receive this kickoff. These guys are both lightning in a bottle.
Let's see who gets it. It's going to go to Little Train James at the goal line. Anderson to block. Man has got lots of moves, and he takes on the big guys and gets across to the 24-yard line. Knocked down by Trey Junkin of the Raiders, and so the Chargers come out with the game tied 7-7 and 2:53 to play in the first quarter. Partial score in. The Cowboys leading the Redskins 3-0 at RFK in Washington. That game in the second quarter.
So far, the Chargers 10 plays, 7 passes, just 3 rushes. And they got that triple back set.
Chargers used 22 different offensive combinations in the course of the game. In the flat they go, and Little Train got his hands on the ball. Did he catch it?
Yes.
Apparently he did.
Now, the thing that San Diego is doing is that in lining James up in the backfield, he's going to draw linebacker coverage. On that particular player was Jeff Barnes.
Gain was good for about 9 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 1. You get the feeling there's going to be a lot of points in this game, maybe a last at bat game.
Yeah.
7-7 right now, 2:47 to play in the first quarter. Players love this field at San Diego. Natural grass track. Anderson. And the Raiders stuffed the run. Those linebackers come a whacking. Howie Long led the charge with Rod Martin right behind him.
They're trying to run at Lyle Alzado. One of the things you got to do with Howie Long, though, from the backside is try to get him on the ground. He's untouched here with his great foot speed. He's there just as Anderson breaks into the line of scrimmage and assists on the tackle. Actually lost yards.
Now the Raider defense shifts people. The chess game continues as the Chargers come out. Keeping people in tight. They feel the way to attack the Raiders. Throwing it is inside. Tough to go deep. Pitch back goes to Anderson. He accelerates ahead on a 3rd down and 3 play. He's short of the 1st down. So the Chargers didn't get there after getting 9 on the 1st down.
What the Chargers are trying to do is the defense is dictating to the Chargers what they're doing offensively. That time the Raiders bring in all of their passing set. So the Chargers run the ball, thinking that with 5 or 6 defensive backs you got a chance to break it up in there.
There's one of the football game. Moshenko, the rookie from Michigan State, ready to hit the ball. He's had a good rookie season.
He had a bad game against the Raiders.
Yeah, he did the first time around. Fulton Walker's back. Moshenko hits the ball high and well. It's inside the 20, but Walker will bring it back. The former Dolphins out across to the 33-yard line of Los Angeles. A 48-yard punt by Moshenko, a 14-yard return by Fulton Walker. And the Raiders go on offense again, having scored their last possession to tie the game at 7-7.
Gary Nelson, who is starting at inside linebacker, replacing Mike Green, tackle on that play. Raiders have moved the ball and moved the ball very well both times they've had it. One resulted in a touchdown, one in a turnover after moving the ball.
AFC West has been a tough place to play for the San Diego Chargers. Last season they were 7-1 outside the division. But in the division, the Chargers were 0-8. This year, they're doing better. They've won 2 of 3 in the division. Raiders opening up with good field position as the day has gone for them. Marcus Allen always finds a way, and Marcus Allen hemmed in, puts on that stutter step move, finally moves out to the 38-yard line. He got 5, well, maybe 6 where they spot the ball.
Well, you talk about fear. Lyndon King made the tackle, but Marcus Allen breaks out of the pile, comes back to this side of the field, and he's squared up with Lyndon King, and the man's got some moves. King able to make the tackle.
Marcus Allen came into the game with over 1,100 yards offense on rushing and receiving. He gets the ball as a runner more than twice as much as all the other Raider backs combined. One game he carried it 28 times this season. Everybody else took it 5. He's it for the running game. Wilson is sacked back at the 31-yard line. Lee Williams, the big cat who picked up the fumble, comes powering through. 9 sacks this year now for big Lee Williams.
Probably one of the least known players in the NFL. Played for the Los Angeles Express in the U.S. Football League. From the right side of the screen, he gets around Henry Lawrence. Our big guy's got great foot speed, and as you said, his 9th sack of the '85 season.
So the ball is positioned now back at the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
Watch Christensen here, Don. They got to cover him. They got to bump him at the line of scrimmage.
Christensen setting himself up to the right side. You see him flex out 5 yards with the very fast Dokie Williams next to him. Hester, who caught the touchdown pass, at the top of your screen. And right now we have a timeout with the game in a tie at 7-7. Another side of Howie Long. There's where you know him best, wearing number 75 for the Los Angeles Raiders. We're tied here at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium 7-7. This is Rolf Benirschke, the outstanding place kicker for the Chargers, injured at the moment, but has to be pleased so far, Rolf. At least this game is close. Right now the Raiders have the ball ready to go. 3rd down and 12. Mark Wilson gets an open track. This might be a career run for Mark Wilson, a tall, angular young man from Brigham Young.
Tell you what,
thin at body but long of heart.
And he is a competitor. Many times this season, I think Mark Wilson has proven to his teammates that this kid really wants to win and will do anything he possibly can. He's come back from serious injury and played in the second half of a game when nobody thought he'd even get off the table. This kid wants to win, and he's going to do anything he possibly can to help today.
17-yard run for Mark Wilson. Once broke one for 20 earlier in his career. Now at 1st down, Mark Wilson takes a deep drop and gets time. Flat pass, poorly thrown. And now, while we have a moment, let's go to Bob Costas in NFL 85. Bob?
Don, the Eagles led the Falcons 17-0 entering the 4th. The Falcons scored 17 points to force overtime, and then this. A 99-yard pass from Ron Jaworski to Mike Quick. He splits the defenders and waves goodbye. 23-17 in OT for the Eagles.
Waves goodbye.
Eagles are in a bad club. Right now, on 2nd and 10, Marcus Allen takes the pitch and gets nothing at all. In fact, he lost a couple of yards back to the 46-yard line of the Raiders.
Great play by Lyndon King. Blocked twice, got up, and makes the tackle.
He's having a good year, Lyndon King, an 8-year veteran from Colorado State. First quarter numbers.
That rushing yardage by the San Diego Chargers, once again unnerving to Don Coryell. 2 weeks ago when they played the Raiders, Chargers could muster just 50 yards rushing. They need more than that.
3rd down and 12 to go for the 1st down for the Raiders. The game is tied 7-7. 13:30 to play in the 1st half. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at San Diego. Wilson all day long. He's intercepted again now. This one is picked up. Coming up with the ball is Carlos Bradley, who takes it back to the 42-yard line of Los Angeles. And so Mark Wilson, who this season has thrown for 6 touchdowns, has also thrown for 11 interceptions.
3rd turnover by the San Diego Chargers today, and this ball is clearly overthrown. I believe Tim Moffitt is the intended receiver, 83. I think it was Dokie Williams, but it was right in the hands of Carlos Bradley. Big turnover for the San Diego Chargers. They're off back in business.
We'll be back right after this.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that crisp, clean taste. This Bud's for you. And by Apple Computer, makers of the Macintosh and Apple II families of personal computers.
Chargers ready to go now. 1st and 10 after a 2nd interception. A flea flicker. Raiders have it covered, though. Great job by the Raiders.
Wow.
They throw the ball away, does Dan Fouts. They weren't fooled.
Yeah, there was only one receiver out. That was Gary Anderson, and nobody was even close. So you got to clap your hands.
Covered nicely. They dropped right into his zone as soon as they flicked it back.
3 of 4 Raider drives resulted in turnovers. The other, a touchdown. Tell you what, though, right now the San Diego Chargers have to be very conservative and make sure they drive the ball down the field here as opposed to trying to get it on one play, Don.
Well, now they've got 2nd and 10, and the Raider pass rush will be coming. Here's the option play again. Buford McGee pitches back to Anderson. Didn't get a whole lot, but it sure looked good as they got the ball down to the 37-yard line of Los Angeles. Rod Martin made the tackle.
Stacey Duran was the guy who forced it. This is something that the Chargers want to do a great deal. Watch the pitch. At times it's a blind one. There's Turan right there.
Buford McGee's done this before. He flicks that sucker back there like he's been doing it all his life.
Yeah, well, tell you what, though, the only problem with that offense is that you do tend to put it on the ground. But the Chargers are very smart in that it looks like the pitch, if it's missed, it'll at least go right out of bounds.
Barry Switzer of Oklahoma's line at high risk, high score. 3rd down and 5. Big rush. Fouts stands in. He gets it away, and the ball is caught by Kellen Winslow, and he takes it inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line. A 19-yard gain. First, it looked like Fouts was going to be hit before he got it away. Then it looked like Winslow was not going to be able to get to it.
He's hurt too. Rod Martin was the man in coverage. I think that's his knee. He's not been able to practice the last couple of weeks because of the soreness in that knee. Rod Martin almost picks this off. There's a safety blitz, 36 right there, Mike Davis. Fouts still able to get. Watch Martin. How in the world did he miss that? And then at the very end of the play, Lester Hayes and Kellen Winslow collide. He appears to be all right, though.
One of those thoroughbreds threw his shoe in that play, but it was a 19-yard gain for San Diego, and it's 1st down and 10 for the Chargers. The game is tied 7-7. Second quarter, 11:47 to play. Pitch back. Anderson turning upfield. He's inside the 15-yard line and down to the 13, where Bill Pickell, the nose tackle, knocked him down. Kellen Winslow apparently is okay.
He had a bad week for the San Diego Chargers. Was upset that last week against Denver he did not catch a pass. And yeah, they're looking at his neck, not his leg, which is certainly encouraging if that makes any sense. The more I watch this Gary Anderson, the more he looks like number 32 of the Los Angeles Raiders.
Straight up slashing runner. Handoff goes to Buford McGee, and he holds on, takes it down to the 11-yard line. Only got a yard on the play, though. Well, you are against guys who can hit like the Raiders and move like the Raiders, live in dangers. They'll run in options.
No question about that. The one thing about it, though, is that their cornerbacks, the Raider cornerbacks, are not great tacklers. Their safeties are. Davis, Turan, and McElroy, he's a great tackler. So what they're trying to do is get those guys out there on the cornerbacks.
Coryell philosophy, you find a weak spot in the defense and keep beating on it, but there are no weak spots in the Raider defense as Kellen Winslow's in the game. 3rd down 5, and markers go down. Might be a free play. It's down to Charlie Joyner, who's to the goal line, but not in. If the play goes, he gets a 1st down and goal. 10-yard gain.
Did you see what he did? That was unbelievable how Chuck did that. The game's all-time leading receiver in running his pattern jumped over Jesse Bendros to continue the pattern. The legal procedure, San Diego. That's too bad. That was a brilliant job by Charlie Joyner. From behind the offense, not much pressure on Fouts. You can see the pile. Charlie Joyner just jumped over that pile.
Number 18 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
He's the guy that catches it. He's the guy in motion.
He makes very few mistakes. A former teammate of yours, Trump, at Cincinnati. Very fine accountant if you need some tax work done. Charlie Joyner.
I'll tell you one thing about Charlie Joyner. The best work habits of any professional athlete I have ever seen in my life. From first day to last day.
Great one from Grambling, the all-time leading receiver in National Football League history, Charlie Joyner. To the end zone, Little Train can't get the ball. Might be a flag. There is not. James Davis covering on a play, but he sure didn't look like he was looking back at the ball.
I agree with you. I think a lot of times teams nowadays are trying to draw interference at the end line. There's contact, but the officials rule that it's incidental contact, and therefore no interference. And this is another missed opportunity for San Diego. Twice now they've been down here in the scoring range. Missed one field goal. Bob Thomas in for his second attempt today.
Certainly didn't look incidental to Little Train James as he was bumped hard in the end zone. Thomas from 34. He's missed from 35. He's got this one, though. And the Chargers break the tie with 10-12 to play in the first half. They take a 10-7 lead. Nicholas, Watson, Zeller, and Palmer. There's a force in that'll draw a gallery, and you can be with them every step of the way. As NBC Sports brings you the high money Skins game Saturday, November 30th and Sunday, December 1st. So that'll be played just 50 miles north of San Diego at Murrieta, California. Kick downfield of Fulton Walker, and he'll not bring it out. So the Raiders will go from their 21st down and 10, trailing in the game 10-7.
Remember the field position. The last time these two teams met, it was worse for the Chargers in Los Angeles than the Raiders have had today in San Diego. Does that make sense? Big turnaround.
We get the gist.
Yeah, big turnaround. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Really has been, though. The other game, the last game 13 days ago, the Chargers were pinned in their own end all night. Nothing there for Marcus Allen. Charger defense an improved lot. Very aggressive hitting. Lee Williams, a force at left end. Man who has a fumble recovery and a sack so far today, and also that hit on Marcus Allen. 9:45 to play in the first half. Chargers lead the favored Raiders 10-7.
See Mark Wilson reading his wrist there? They're signaling the plays in, and he's referring to the little thing on his left wrist. We'll have to take a look at it. That's his inventory.
Looking at his options. They call 2 plays in the huddle in case he checks off and goes to another. Swing out to Marcus Allen. He's ahead for a first down. He crossed the 30 where he had to go. Lyndon King brought him down, but the Raiders get a first down.
Jeez, has anybody else touched the ball? Todd Christensen caught one pass. It seems like it's all Marcus Allen. Out of the backfield this time, just a little hook pass. 6'3". Well, he is. That guy is in a class by himself.
San Diego, next to Houston, has the most rookies of any team in the National Football League. 12 on the Charger roster, although some really qualify as pro experience coming out of the U.S. Football League. But they do start 2 real rookies in their secondary.
Again.
Allen dropped the ball at the 39-yard line. John Endy was covering.
See his left wrist there, Don?
Yeah.
That's not his locker key, nor is it his money. He's got the entire list. He looks to the sideline. Someone will signal him to him. What's this? What's this? Let's see if he refers to it. Here's the wrist, the entire offense on his wrist. Remember the Baltimore Colts running back Tom Matte who did that?
Yeah. I'm sure if you got a hold of that from the Raiders, the CIA couldn't decipher what it means.
This is correct, but it certainly is Mark Wilson's roadmap.
Second down and 10 now for the Raiders. Yards coming tough up the gut at San Diego today. He got to the 31-yard line on a second down carry, so it's going to be third down and long.
Guess they're going to use him and continue using him all day long.
Chargers continue to lead the game 10-7. Chargers have not beaten the Raiders in their last 7 tries. Haven't beaten them since '81. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Diego Chargers, the National Football League is prohibited. Raiders on third down. Looks like 8 when they have the ball spotted at the 32. Chargers lead 10-7. Second quarter. Wilson with 4 people running deep patterns. Goes sideline to Dokie Williams. He's got a first down for Los Angeles. Well done by the Raiders. 10 yards and a first down.
Wayne Davis on the coverage. You always have to respect Dokie Williams' speed. Wilson has good protection this time as the Chargers come with a 4-man front. He rifles it out there. Nice pickup by the Los Angeles Raiders. First down.
San Diego offensively has led the National Football League 6 of the last 7 years in total offense. The problem has been on the defensive side, unable to stop teams like the Raiders. Doing better today. Raiders have moved the ball. 2 interceptions have stopped Raider drives. The first was in the end zone. Free ball. The Raiders get the ball at their 40-yard line. Marcus Allen lunged in and got it. Brings up second down and 12.
I wonder if he tapes ankles before the games, too.
Scoreboard changing on some of the late starts. The Jets and the Dolphins at the Orange Bowl scoreless into the second quarter now. Dallas continues to lead Washington in the second quarter at Washington 3-0. Those 2 teams might lead the league in people who don't like each other.
I was just noticing the signals from the sideline by the Los Angeles Raiders are in an attempt to save time because of the short amount of time between plays nowadays in the NFL.
Second down and 12 for the Raiders. They trail by 3 in the second quarter. Wilson smartly eludes the rush, and then Marcus Allen drops the ball at the 45-yard line. As we pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
KCST-TV, San Diego.
Don Coryell, the head man of the Chargers in his 8th year as the coach of the San Diego Chargers, exercised over something that happened there. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. It's sold out. San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. The Raiders and the Chargers meeting for the 52nd time. Dating all the way back to 1960 in the beginning of the American Football League. 3rd and 12. Marcus Allen looks to break it, and the Chargers get him. Billy Ray Smith coming on like a trained inside linebacker, the #1 choice out of Arkansas 3 years ago. And across and made the hit.
Don, I understand the Los Angeles Raiders attempt to get the ball to Marcus Allen as many times as they possibly can, but this is bordering on the absurd. Wilson can't find anybody else to throw it to but Marcus Allen, and Wilson doesn't give it to anybody else but Marcus Allen, and a Charger down on the field.
Looks like a lineman. That's a big guy down there. 93 is down. Earl Wilson, a rookie defensive end from Kentucky. So the clock is stopped with 6:43 to play in the first half, and the Chargers ready to take a first Raider punt of the day, lead the game San Diego 10, Los Angeles 7. Next Sunday, the Raiders go back to Los Angeles at the Coliseum. They'll hook up with Cincinnati, your old team, Trump, that's started to move now. They're 5-5. They share the lead in the AFC Central. They've got one of the best looking quarterbacks around in Boomer Esiason.
You're right. He doesn't get a lot of press. San Diego Chargers, on the other hand, go right back and play the Denver Broncos. Not a very good schedule here in the month of November for the Chargers. Raiders, and then they play Denver here, and then Raiders, and then they play Denver there.
Denver right now sharing the lead in the AFC West with the Raiders starting this day. Denver goes tomorrow night against the 49ers. They came in 6-3. The Broncos are 6-3. The Raiders 6-3 as Wilson appears to be all right.
Flexing his left arm there a little bit.
Don Coryell, in his 12th year as a head coach in the National Football League, has had 5 divisional winners, 2 at St. Louis, and he had AFC Western champions here in San Diego in 79, 80, and 81. Also coached 12 years here in San Diego with 84% wins at San Diego State. The master of the passing game. Kick end over end downfield. It's going to be out of bounds by Ray Guy. There's also 2 penalty markers down at the line of scrimmage with 6:21 to play in the first half.
Don, you mentioned all the positives for Don Coryell. He's only had 3 losing seasons as a head coach, and the last 2 offsides defense. Coaching the San Diego Chargers has upset a lot of people here in San Diego, and there's some question as to whether or not he'll return.
Well, the owner, Mr. Spanos, gave him a vote of confidence this week. One of the best liked people in pro football. And the way this defense is, I'll tell you one thing won't hurt his cause if he beats the Raiders today.
Number 21 on the defense. Still 4th down.
I agree with you.
First numbers are up at the Orange Bowl this day, and the Jets on a field goal by Pat Leahy have taken a 3-0 lead on the favored Dolphins. Jets a tough group, although you'd never have thought it off opening day when they were blasted at the Coliseum 31-0 by the Raiders, but they've come back. Ray Guy hits it downfield. Good spiral. Drives Little Train James. That's been a hallmark of Ray Guy's punting, particularly late in his career. You don't get to return his punts. He angles them so well. So a 32-yard punt, but well placed. Chargers have it when we come back. And we'll be joining Bob and Ahmad and Axe at halftime NFL 85 and a feature on a young man, not so young anymore, Trump, who was aptly named.
Yeah, Joe Don Looney. Never has a person been better named for his personality.
Played for the Giants one time. Allie Sherman told him he wanted to go in and out with plays. He said, if you want to send messages, call Western Union. It was cut the same day. Joe Don Looney. He'll be a feature at halftime as Fouts has problems, gets the ball away. And it's an incomplete pass. He did well to do that. Now let's go back to NFL 85. Here's Bob Costas. Bob?
Well, the question, what hath refrigerator Perry wrought? Here are the Jets with Gastineau moving in motion with Joe Klecko out of the backfield. and Freeman McNeil carries, and nobody takes care of anybody on the blocks, and McNeil is swarmed under by the Dolphins.
So much for trickery. Now the stacked backfield. They go to the first back throw, and Spencer breaks it. Man, he would have gone a long way had not he been tripped by an ankle-high tackle by Millen. A 12-yard gain as it was for the Chargers. And they're ahead for a first down.
Millen and Mike Davis, once again, field position in big games against division opponents. Always so very, very important. That missed field goal, that's a missed opportunity.
Now the Chargers have the ball as the day becomes more overcast. The arc lights are on here at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. San Diego leads the game 10-7. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy as Gary Anderson breaks the first layer of defense and comes across the 40. Out to the 41-yard line where the rookie linebacker from Tennessee, Reggie McKenzie, knocked him down.
Get him the ball more.
Boy, he can play.
Last week against Denver, 22
good
carries.
warming up, doesn't
yes,
he?
He does. Great acceleration. Has a good vision for the field, which is also a characteristic, I think, that has probably made Marcus Allen such a great running back.
Out of Arkansas, Gary Anderson. He wanted to be sure he played pro football. He signed with both leagues.
Yes. That took a while to decipher, didn't it?
Some lawyers got well on that. Anderson on 2nd down and 3 got only back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard ahead, so it'll bring up 3rd down and about 2 as Mike Davis came up from strong safety.
There's so many ways you can use a player like Gary Anderson, and I would think the Chargers, you see Dan Fouts talking to himself, repeating the signals in from the sideline, the Charger sideline, back to Gary Anderson. Eventually they'd like to feature him in their offense exactly the way Marcus Allen is used by the Raiders.
3rd down and 2 now for the Chargers. They lead the game 10-7. Little Train James has got a first down and more as he's out to midfield.
Chargers have always been outstanding at this. They run Charlie Joyner in motion into the formation and back out of the formation, and he serves as a pick. James comes out of the backfield, just a timing pass in the flat. You'll see Barnes 56 out there to make the tackle, but it's a first down. Well, the interesting matchups too is rookie Jim Lachey on Howie Long. That's a do-si-do there.
Lachey, the #1 draft choice out of Ohio State. They think he has the potential to be a superior NFL offensive lineman. Let's find out more about himself today with Long coming in, and that time Long. Here's an interception. The ball's picked off by Brad Van Pelt. And it was Long who set the whole thing up. He had a clean shot at Fouts, who released the ball quickly, going to Anderson. Brad Van Pelt, 5 times a Pro Bowler with the Giants, comes up with the ball and runs it back 20 yards. So the Raiders get it back, and they get it in good position.
Room service. That was absolutely what the doctor ordered. Right off the menu for the Los Angeles Raiders. Went through the hands of Gary Anderson and Brad Van Pelt. Right place at the right time. You're right, Howie Long right in his face. Look at this. Boom. Yes, sir, I'll take it. Raiders have had 30 plays. Allen has been involved in 15 of them as they once again take the field offensively.
Raider fans may recall that Van Pelt had an interception here last year to help the Raiders beat the Chargers. Raiders have won 7 straight over San Diego. Marcus Allen doesn't get much. Filling was linebacker Derry Nelson, who made the knockdown. Another score in from the Orange Bowl in Miami. The Dolphins have put up a touchdown, and they now lead the Jets 7-3. Dan Marino to Mark Duper. It was a 60-yard scoring pass. So the Dolphins take a 7-3 lead here at San Diego. We have 2:57 to play in the first half. The Raiders with the ball. They're trailing the Chargers 10-7. Christensen has the ball at the 9-yard line. Second catch of the day for Todd Christensen. This one good for 23 yards. He catches the big ones. You recall the last was a 3rd and 18 play where he caught one.
Gil Byrd on the reception once again. No contact at the line of scrimmage. Allows Christensen a free release. 24 yards. Runs a little in pattern. Goes up for it. Uses that big body to keep Gil Byrd away from the football. 1st and goal.
Stop Christensen was a #1 priority of the Charger defense. Have not done it, at least on 2 big plays, and Marcus Allen takes it down close to the goal line. That man thinks end zone. 8 touchdowns already this season. Gil Byrd knocked him down as the clock is down to 2 minutes. We pause for this word, then we'll be back with the Raiders challenging. And when you do, National Football League Commissioner Pete Rozelle will be Bob's guest next Sunday on NFL 85. And a live audience will be in the studio in New York to join them. As with 2 minutes to play now, the Raiders set up looking to come from behind and go ahead. Elton John used to sing about the Rocket Man. That's what Marcus Allen looks like when he goes over the top. But now he goes in motion. They give the ball to Frank Hawkins, and he goes in. So the Raiders look like a trap block there because they blasted it.
Excellent job by Mosbar, Hanna, Jordan, Davis. Did an outstanding job. Watch the right side of the picture. That's Davis in there. Mosbar gets a good block. They put a nice big bow in that San Diego Charger defensive line. Hawkins doesn't have to work too hard to get it in the end zone.
So Frank Hawkins goes in, and the Raiders take the lead for the first time in the game. They were tied 7-7, then down 10-7, and now they lead it 13-7 with Chris Barr out for his second extra point try of the day. Mark Wilson, the holder. Could be a big one. 1:57 to play in the first half, and it's a 13-10 game, not 14-10.
That missed field goal by Bob Thomas in the first quarter, the difference.
So we'll be back right after this. Today is the 210th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps, and every member, present and past, a happy birthday.
Watch the block of this extra point down from the middle. Billy Ray Smith, middle linebacker, is able to make penetration. Gets that body stretched out. That's a big block.
Billy Ray got it, and so it's a 13-10 game. The Raiders in the lead for the first time. Miami has come from behind on a long touchdown pass by Dan Marino to lead the Jets in the second quarter 7-3. Lionel James a yard deep, and here he comes. Penalty marker down as Little Train slides to a halt at the 17-yard line, but it might go half the distance if there's a hold, and there is.
The illegal use of the hands or blocking the back, and this is what happened to San Diego in Los Angeles 2 weeks ago. Bad field position here.
So while we have a moment, let's go back to NFL 85. Bob?
Don, a moment ago at the Orange Bowl, it was 3-0 Jets, but one of Dan Marino's favorite targets is back. Here's Dick Enberg.
Going to Duper. Touchdown. Mark Duper just coming off the injury list today. He'd been out with a broken leg about 8 weeks. Apparently, he hasn't been slowed by that injury. Right now, it's 1st and 10 for the Chargers. They trail 13-10. Lionel James gets out to the 14-yard line.
Watch this now. The San Diego Chargers have spent an awful lot of this week in the 2-minute offense preparing for this game against the Raiders.
Dan Fouts on 2nd down and 5. Swings it out to Kellen Winslow. He's hit hard and knocked out of bounds. But he got the first down where he moved. Mike Haynes hit him. Mike Haynes is down.
I think that's a neck injury. He hit Kellen Winslow squarely. Probably stung his shoulders. And Winslow does a good job just dancing up the sideline, tippy-toeing up the sideline for a first down.
Players talk about injuries, Trump, they call a stinger.
Yes. The stinger is when you compress your neck, it's like getting the funny bone hit in your arm. It just deadens every part of you, and it's like somebody just put a torch in the back of your neck. Fouts this time has a lot of time to throw. Looks all over the place. Finally finds Winslow running a crossing pattern. Now watch the hit by Haynes in the back of Kellen Winslow. Well, it's not really his neck, but he does go down kind of in a heap. And Winslow there tippy-toeing gets the first down. Mike Haynes up now.
Fortunately, Mike's all right. Van McElroy, you see on the sideline, 26, a standout safety for the Raiders, who's not playing at least so far today. He's injured. Kellen Winslow gets the ball out to the 19-yard line for a first down. Just 1:29 left to play in the first half.
Plenty of time for this offense, Don.
They can make it happen fast. Fouts throws a lot, but he throws with discretion. One of the lowest interception rates in the NFL, and he spreads the ball around. Everybody gets a look at it. A little train James this time, and he heads for the out-of-bounds line and gets there. Stops the clock with 1:21 to play. First half. Raiders are in the lead 13-10.
2-minute offense. You try to get your receivers and running backs to the sideline. You don't struggle for inches. You try to save seconds. That play took 5 seconds to pick up 5 yards. Dan Fouts will call a couple of plays in case the ball goes down the middle. They'll assemble at the line of scrimmage and keep it going.
Fouts on second and a long 4. Gets it upfield. It's slapped down nicely by Mike Davis. Raider fans looking for a call. They didn't get one, and now Kellen Winslow starts to mix it up.
Otis McKinney.
Fouts is right in the middle of that. He saw something he didn't like.
Yeah, Otis McKinney just decked Wes Chandler. Absolutely floored him. Hit him right in the chest. When you play 52 times, though, things like this happen.
One thing about the Raiders, they stir strong emotion wherever they play. The crowd really getting into this game.
Davis, a good job in coverage on Joyner. Whoa. That is a heck of a shot. And then Rod Martin just kind of bumps him with his knee on the face mask. This is the stuff that the Raiders' reputation is made of.
Here's Fouts, live action, long ball, going for it, and getting his Wes Chandler. He's down at the 45-yard line of Los Angeles. With 1 minute and 8 seconds to play, the Chargers hit a long one, a 30-yard gainer. And they call timeout, stopping the clock with 68 ticks left in the first half.
Over Lester Hayes. Fouts with plenty of time. Raiders run a game well picked up by the offensive line. Ball underthrown, it appears intentionally. Wes Chandler comes back and gets it. Big first down pickup and a timeout. Still plenty of time left. 1:08 for the San Diego Chargers, and that practice in the 2-minute drill this week has so far paid off.
Dan Fouts gets him down, so it's at the 45-yard line. The Raiders are in the lead 13-10. Talking trouble about halftime. NFL 85 at halftime is coming up, and Joe Don Looney, who'll be featured in it. I was down in New Orleans one time when Looney had straightened out for the most part, had a pet pit bull that got loose and ripped up his neighbor's chicken coop. Big Doug Atkins of the Saints, now Hall of Famer, said, wouldn't you know it, Looney straightens out and the dog goes bad. And all the scores and highlights also of NFL 85.
Thank God it wasn't Doug Atkins' chicken coop. He'd make wings of you. Mike Haynes back in the ball game, I noticed, Don. Apparently recovered from whatever ailment he had.
The Chargers are trailing 13-10. 1:08 to play in the first half. A 30-yard gainer set this first down up. Fouts throws. Markers are down. Incomplete at the 30. And a marker comes in the secondary against Lester Hayes.
Don, there's no secret. I don't mind admitting this. That prior to the ball game, the Chargers said, we'd like to throw it in crucial situations at Lester Hayes. Reason being, 1, we think we can beat him. 2, we'll also get the pass interference penalty against him.
Yeah, they say he's good for 2 of those a game, which is like receptions.
Pass interference. Number 37 on the defense. Offside. Number 36 on the defense. Holding. Number 74 on the offense. Penalties offset. First down.
See the smile on Lester's face?
Lester's usually got a smile. He's kind of an upbeat guy.
Holding on Jim Lachey. He's got Howie Long. I don't blame him for holding him. Points here, any points here for the San Diego Chargers would be a real key in this football game because they get the ball to begin the second half.
Well, Trump, the one area of the Charger passing game that the Raiders have not defensed has been the redoubtable little train James.
Yes. Well, 6 catches in this first half. And out of the backfield in this situation, I think the Raiders will give James those receptions.
Speed comes out in the right flank. A USFL All-Star Trumaine Johnson. And the right flank Chandler at the top of your screen. Bounce goes to Little Train. He turns the corner and gets out of bounds at the 43-yard line with 59 seconds to play in the first half. And the Raiders in the lead 13-10. Don Coryell, the coach of the Chargers, said this week, he told his players, if we win this game, it's going to be right in the final 30 seconds. You're going to have to fight that long and that hard to beat the Raiders.
And that's why they paid so much attention to the 2-minute drill. Notice the Chargers put their 4 best athletes, skilled position athletes in the game. They are again.
2nd down and 7 for the Chargers. 42-yard line of the Raiders. Marker down. Tip ball. Intercepted. Rod Martin got the ball. We'll see if the play goes. There was a marker down at the snap of the ball.
Ball was intended for Kellen Winslow to run an excellent pattern. You notice everybody swings, but when Howie Long gets in there, all the swinging stops. Penalty against the Raiders. Chargers will retain possession. Who's that directed at?
It was in silver and black, but I don't think they brought that with them.
Number 37 on the defense. Still 2nd down.
Lester Hayes. Just builds a reputation. That time he had Trumaine Johnson in coverage. One of the advantages that time an offense has against bump and run is to put your best receiver as the flanker. So he's got at least a yard or 2 from the defensive back.
They took the stickum off of Lester, but they let him wear that ridiculous towel.
Yeah.
2nd down and 3. Little Train. He's got a first down as he's inside the 35-yard line, and the Chargers quickly signal a timeout. No, they don't. They're going right into scrimmage.
Yeah. Fouts will have called 2 plays in the huddle.
Now they call stop the clock with 38 seconds left, and they're
going to measure.
Yeah, they're going to bring out the markers. Chargers won't argue with that.
The matchup, I think, in this situation, bottom of the screen, 89 from the Chargers, 37 from the Raiders. Chandler and Hayes. That's one that I think we'd be very smart to watch. Not a first down either. So now Don Coryell's got a tough choice.
At least he's got one, though, and still has 38 seconds left in the first half.
Well, Coryell wanted to go for the first down. Fouts says, get out of here. We're going down the field.
Lionel James, the lone setback. Fouts is going to be pitching. No, he's going to Little Train. He gets some. First down to the 31-yard line, so they're in field goal range. And the clock is stopped now with 24 seconds to play in the first half. Timeout, Chargers.
Actually, they've done an excellent job. Remember, this drive started at their own 8-yard line. Just inside the 2-minute warning, 24 seconds left. They're down at the Raider 31 or 32. So many weapons available for Dan Fouts in this situation. It's hard to cover them all.
Well, we were talking earlier, Trump, about the Raider coaches saying that the Chargers will align it with 22 different offensive combinations of people.
And then
their playbook is as thick as the LA Yellow Pages.
Yeah, they run all those different formations down and then have motion off each one.
Dan Fouts, in his 13th year, came into the NFL in the 1973 draft, the same draft that brought in people like Burt Jones and Ron Jaworski, Joe Ferguson, Gary Huff. They were all drafted ahead of Dan Fouts. When they write the book, he'll probably be the all-time passing leader. 36,000 yards career already.
He's like a virtuoso out there. When it's going his way, there is nobody that can get it down the field better than he.
There's the 73 draft.
Who's that guy? Who's Gary Keithley? How'd he get in there?
He's out there watching somewhere.
You ever heard of him?
A while.
You ever heard of him?
Gary, yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
You're one up on me there.
First rounder. He was there for a cup of coffee.
Imagine an expensive one for the Cardinals.
1st and 10, Chargers. 24 seconds to play in the first half. That sends in. The ball, his arm is hit as he releases it. It's an incomplete forward pass. Raiders came hunting for the quarterback and almost got him.
That was a safety blitz. Mike Davis in there to hit the arm of Dan Fouts. He's the one. of the problems you have in this situation is you have so many people out running pass patterns that a safety blitz is a very chancy defense, but when you can get to the look, he's probably lobbying for a blitz right there.
Brings up second down. Raiders are in the lead 13-10. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at San Diego. Dan Fouts gets time. There's a man. Wes Chandler has the ball inside the 15-yard line. And the Chargers huddling. Now they're going into formation. 8 seconds. No timeouts left for San Diego. 4 seconds. Here's the snap. Fouts throws it out of bounds with a second left. Wait to play at home.
The clock is supposed to stop when the ball hits the ground. So they bring Bob Thomas in. That's a very smart play. And I guarantee you the practice that the Chargers had this week on the 2-minute drill allowed them to get that ball out with 1 tick left on the clock.
Dan Fouts, a good illustration of how many times he's been there before. Got his team set, got the snap, and got it away, stopping the clock with 1 second. Now a 30-yard field goal. Bob Thomas, who's missed once and hit once, and tie the game.
Oh, he missed it.
And he's killing him. Bob Thomas misses another chip shot, and so the first half comes to an end, and the LA Raiders take a 13-10 lead at halftime. They got to be happy with that. So we go to halftime, and what was expected to be a very close game, and it surely is that, as the LA Raiders, after 2 missed field goals by Bob Thomas, hold to a 3-point halftime lead.
Don, I'll tell you what, when you play the Los Angeles Raiders, you can't miss opportunities like the Chargers did twice in this first half.
Well, also the Chargers played a good game. Last time they met 13 days ago at halftime, it was over at the half, and the Chargers are very much in this one. This might go down to the gun.
They're in it. They're playing very well, but those missed field goals hurt your team offensively because they get the ball to begin the second half. That was an important drive. Those 3 points missed will hurt a lot.
Halftime activities coming up. NFL 85 will be back after these messages from your local station. Tough turn events for the Chargers at the close of the first half. Bob Thomas with what appeared to be a sure shot field goal, but it turned out not to be for a second time in this game.
Watch his left foot. The left foot is the one foot that will determine where that ball goes. I think you could see, Don, in that particular instance, his left foot, his plant foot opened up, and therefore he hooked it.
Now let's go to NFL 85. Here's Bob Costas.
Hi again, everybody. Bob Costas back at our studios in New York, along with Pete Axthelm. Ahmad Rashad is at the Orange Bowl in Miami, where the Dolphins lead the Jets 7-3 at halftime today on the Marino touchdown pass to the reactivated Mark Duper. It covered 60 yards. Here is an interesting note. Last year, Duper and Clayton caught 26 touchdown passes between them from Marino. Now, partly because of the Dolphins' troubles, and in Duper's case because of his injury, the two have caught just 3 Marino touchdown passes this year. That partly explains why the Dolphins are battling for their lives today. They're already 2 games back of the Jets in the AFC East as they lead 7-3 at halftime at the Orange Bowl. Dallas and Washington at RFK. Rafael Septien, a 40-yard field goal in the first quarter, and that's it. They've come to halftime, the score 3-0. The Raiders and the Chargers, 13-10 in favor of the Raiders at halftime in that one. The Raiders are 6-3. They'd like to get a half-game jump on Denver in the AFC West. Denver plays at home tomorrow night against San Francisco. Fouts to Wes Chandler, who had been doubtful with a heel injury, for a touchdown early for San Diego. Mark Wilson, 35 yards to the rookie Jesse Hester for one of the Raider touchdowns. They missed the point after following their second TD, and that could become a factor in the game as the Raider lead is 3 instead of 4. Cincinnati and Cleveland today, and for the 4th consecutive time, the Bengals have won the Battle of Ohio. 27-10 was the final score in that one, and the Browns go to 4-6. The Bengals go to 5-5. Pittsburgh wins at Kansas City 36-28, and the Chiefs, after a very promising start, have now lost. That could have led to a Rams score. Instead, the Rams lose for the 2nd time this year, and the Giants go to 7-3, and if Washington should beat Dallas today, then the Giants would be alone in first place in the NFC East. The Bears won again today. 24-3 is the final score in that ball game, so Chicago goes to 10-0. Refrigerator Perry didn't catch one or run with one today, although he did record a sack from his defensive tackle spot. Walter Payton for the 5th consecutive week and Matt Suhey, each over 100 yards rushing in the game for the Bears. Seattle defeats New Orleans 27-3. It was just 7-3 after 3 quarters. Then the Seahawks exploded in the war, win 27-3. Tampa Bay is a winner today over St. Louis, 16-0. After an 0-9 start, Tampa Bay, as predicted on the pregame show by Pete Axthelm, finally records a victory. New England has won 5 in a row, and they stay right behind the Jets in the AFC East. 34-15, a win over Indianapolis. Big play, Irving Fryar, 77-yard punt return for a TD. Green Bay rallies and defeats Minnesota, 27-17 the score there. Buffalo wins their 2nd of the year and snaps Houston's winning streak at 3, 20-0 the score in the rain at Buffalo. And Philadelphia, on a 99-yard pass from Ron Jaworski to Mike Quick in overtime, beats Atlanta 23-17 after almost blowing a 17-0 lead. And we close with a tragic note from the National Hockey League. Pelle Lindbergh, the goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers, who won the Vezina Trophy a year ago as the Flyers went to the finals against Edmonton, was involved in an automobile accident early this morning, and right now doctors say he is essentially brain dead and is being kept alive by a respirator. His family and some of his teammates are now conducting a bedside vigil. They will not decide until tomorrow at the earliest whether or not that life support equipment will be disconnected. NFL 85 halftime activities will continue after this from your local stations.
Bob Thomas at halftime at San Diego. He's missed 2 first-half field goals. Normally a sure shot from in close. Not the case today for the Chicago Bears all-time leading scorer who came here after he was waived by the Bears last summer. Trump, you looked at those place kicks. You kicked some yourself past in your career. What went wrong?
No, I haven't, but I've hung around the kickers that can speak English. This is a clear example of a mistake made by a kicker. For you young kickers out here, it's very easy to see why. It's not the swing of his leg. It's a good snap by McKnight, a good placement by Moshenko. Look at his left foot. That's where the problem is. When that foot opens up, that controls the plane of the swing, like in golf. He hooks it to the left. His 2nd missed field goal, this after a drive that started at San Diego's 9-yard line, Don. They worked on the 2-minute drill the entire week. All they're looking for is that opportunity, and it's missed by Bob Thomas.
Well, they talk about putting the excitement back in the extra point. He's putting it back into the sure shot field goal. Has missed 2 today. The Booten barrister, he's an attorney in the offseason and might be thinking about that pursuit. As right now, the Raiders are ready to kick it off. Chris Barr has the ball teed up.
The problems of the San Diego Chargers, obviously missed opportunities, but just 48 yards rushing. That's not good enough. The turnovers, 3 for Los Angeles, 1 for the Chargers, and the Raiders lead 13-10.
Back deep now to return the kickoff. Gary Anderson and Lionel James for the San Diego Chargers as it's 13-10. Opening the 3rd quarter of play. Chargers have not beaten the Raiders since '81. 7 straight wins does Los Angeles have over the San Diego Chargers. Haven't beaten the Raiders since they've been in LA. As we pointed out, the Chargers have had problems against the Raiders here at San Diego over the years. Big ones. Raiders have won 13 times, lost 4 and tied 1 here at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, which opened in 1967. Barr plants the kickoff far wide and comes down to Lionel James. He's a force. Lionel James is out to the 33-yard line where Jeff Barnes, a big linebacker, finally knocked him down. So the Chargers come out in relatively good field position with Fouts at quarterback. Lachey and Clapham are his guards. Ed White and McKnight are his tackles. Ed White and McKnight are the guards, and Don Masick, who didn't practice all week, will be down over the ball at center. Kowalski in now right tackle for Clapham. Gary Kowalski starting at right tackle, trying to keep the Raider rush off of Dan Fouts to the run, and Anderson gets the ball. Our producer David Neal informs us that Clapham now has been ruled out for the day with a hamstring injury. Last week, Trump, they went a load of times to Gary Anderson, got in the ball upfield all day long. He gained 116 yards rushing, caught 4 more for another 42 yards. Has not seen the ball that much this game.
Well, I have a feeling, though, in the second half, they're going to try to get him more into the game. Pitch.
Buford McGee is ridden down. Brad Van Pelt takes him across. He was looking at the trailer, but wisely did not pitch back as Van Pelt had him in his grasp.
Don, I'll tell you what, the Raiders, for the most part, have done an outstanding job against that pitch. Against Denver last week, the Chargers were able to turn the corner with Anderson a full head of speed towards the end zone. The Raiders have strung it out to the sideline. They've not been able to get anybody loose on that pitch.
Dan Reeves, the Bronco coach, said we were dominated by San Diego last Sunday as much as we've ever been dominated by anybody. Right now, Fouts looks for a big play, and he has one downfield, and the ball is caught by the second man. Was he inbounds? He was.
Nothing to it.
Chandler was trailing on the play. It caromed off Joyner, and Dan Fouts is down.
16 yards on the catch. The ball went through Charlie Joyner's hands. 3 years ago, that would have been an incompletion. Watch Fouts. Plenty of pressure all over him. Through the hands. And to Chandler, just the way they draw it up on the board. First down, Chargers.
A lot of receivers in one small area.
Yes, yes. Dan Fouts appeared to sprain his knee a little bit on that last setup. His left knee. He's limping a little bit too, Don.
He's playing with a bad knee. He missed all of 2 games and the better part of 2 others with a knee injury. They go to the run on a first down play and hit down to the 46-yard line. Reggie McKenzie coming up to make the stop on the play.
You know, when he set up on that last pass, I don't think there was any real pressure on his leg, but in setting up and trying to really drive off of it, looked like he may have turned it out a little bit. It's bothering him too.
And no question it's bothering him. Out set to go though on 2nd down and 7. Here comes the rush. Long ball. Little Train James is wide open, and he makes the play at the 7-yard line. Big play by the little man.
Busted coverage. 37 yards. Stacy Turin was the man making the tackle, but I don't think you can blame him for the lack of coverage. Well, watch Dan Fouts. He's struggling to get out of there. Sets up very well, and he doesn't want to get a lot of steam on this ball, but he throws it as far as he possibly can. I repeat, this is a busted coverage all the way around. Watch how open James is. He's standing there waiting for it. Please give me the fair catch capability. First and goal, San Diego.
So now the Chargers are challenging to take the lead in the 3rd quarter. They're down 13-10. Anderson. Straight up runner. You pointed out a lot like Marcus Allen. Slashing into the line and down to the 1-yard line.
They ran right at Howie Long that time. Mr. Kowalski did an excellent job on Howie Long. There was a nice big hole there for Anderson to run through.
Raiders are tough to get it in the end zone on. Just those 3 rushing touchdowns this season. But now the nose of the ball inside the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal for the Chargers. Over the top. No signal yet. Like Buford McGee went up with the ball, 21, and he didn't get in. So it's going to be 3rd down and goal for San Diego.
Oh, and they put some big people in there. Sean Jones, Bill Pickell. This is not an offensive line that is used to the nuts and bolts of run blocking either. This is a line that is a good pass protection offensive line. This is where they'll really struggle.
Big down lineman submarine the offensive blocking, and the linebackers come over the top to knock it back, and the Raiders worked it. 3rd and goal. Anderson loses the ball, and they'll have to settle for a field goal as it'll be 4th and goal from the 6.
And that's no guarantee either. That's 3 missed opportunities now by the San Diego Chargers. Strange that most football teams will try 2 shots into the line of scrimmage and then go wide. They do here. It's a good pitch. I think Anderson was just looking upfield, never got his hands on the ball. And of course the Raiders take advantage of the mistake. And he knows what he's done. Doggone it, just catch the thing. And the ever exciting Bob Thomas on the field.
Bob Thomas, you see his numbers with the misses from 30 and 35 yards. Moshenko holding. That time he was sure.
Somebody tipped that ball, and he still got it through.
It looked clean to me. It goes up and through, and it's a tie game. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at San Diego, California, where the Chargers have just tied the game 13-all on a field goal by Bob Thomas. We're early in the third quarter, 11:30 to play in it. Here comes Fulton Walker for the Raiders. Well done by Walker out to the 34-yard line, so the Raiders will start on offense with good position.
On the 2 missed field goals in the first half, Bob Thomas was a little more deliberate on this one. Once again, a good snap by McKnight, a good spot by Moshenko. Watch Jeff Barnes. He makes solid contact with this football, changes the spin of it, but not the trajectory. 3 points.
I couldn't see where he blocked it.
Oh, absolutely. He made contact with it.
But it did go through, and the game is tied. Mark Wilson on first down. Marcus Allen to the 38. Billy Ray Smith got him down. There was a pickup of 4 or 5 yards on the play.
Tell you what, Billy Ray Smith for the San Diego Chargers and Marcus Allen for the Los Angeles Raiders doing a lot of dancing today. Watch Billy Ray. Reads, play action, drops back. Oh, here comes Allen again. All right, make the tackle. Allen has been busy.
Second down and 6 now for the Raiders. Going from their 37-yard line. Allen looking for a crack, finds one out to the 42-yard line of Los Angeles. Carlos Bradley, who had the interception earlier, knocked him down.
Look at there by himself. More than the Chargers team total.
The more he gets it, the more he likes it. Marcus Allen playing in his hometown. Hilger, the backup quarterback, finished up last week at Seattle. That was only after Mark Wilson had been intercepted 4 times. Third down and 2 now for the Raiders. Allen got to where he had to go, crossed the 45-yard line, and he's good for a first down with a reception. The free safety for the Chargers, Jeffrey Dale, knocked him down.
This is a broken record. Wilson to Marcus Allen. Just enough for the first down. He knows where that marker is. Lyndon King almost makes the tackle. Jeffrey Dale does. Wow.
The Raiders have made a business of winning the close games at the end. They expect to, and the opposition often plays like they expected to by making a mistake at a critical time. That's where the Chargers hope to stay away from. Coryell has preached all week. This is going down to the final gun. We're going to beat the Raiders. We're going to do it at the end. Christensen makes a first down catch, and he breaks free inside the 40, and finally they get him at the 38-yard line. John Endy, the rookie corner, finally ran him down, but the game was good for 14.
The most critical factor in stopping a tight end is, at least at the outset, trying to alter his pattern. Lyndon King, 57, does not touch Todd Christensen. He is there to make the catch. And of course, he's a tough receiver, as all tight ends are. Stays on his feet, picks up a first down. Score for you, Don. Dallas leads Washington now 6-0. Another Rafael Sepien field goal, this time 36 yards.
Cowboys were fighting in practice all week, which is a good sign. Here's a handoff to Marcus Allen. On first down, he gets to the 36-yard line. Carlos Bradley ran him down as the game clock comes down to 8:35 to play in the third quarter. Game is tied 13-13. Septien's field goals from 40 and 36 yards, and Dallas leads the favorite Redskins 6-0.
Wonder if Tom Flores is mad at Marcus Allen.
Because he gives it to him so much. Marcus complains when he doesn't get it enough.
Well, today, though, he's certainly gotten it more than I think he ever has in this 1985 season.
Durability, the strength of the great runners, and Marcus Allen has that among his other attributes. Now second down and 9. Wilson sends Marcus Allen in motion. Poorly thrown ball by Mark Wilson, came to the wrong side of the intended receiver. John Endy was covering on the play. Doki Williams was going for the ball.
Well, at least they try to get it to someone else. And watch the signals into Marcus and Mark Wilson. Whatever that means. And there you see Mark Wilson. Look at the road map there. Here we go, guys. This is the play.
Signaling out the Raider logo, covering one eye.
Yes. This is the Pirate formation.
3rd down and 8. Game tie, 13-13, 3rd quarter. Going for the route, and they get it down inside the 5-yard line. Tim Moffitt, a rookie wide receiver from Ole Miss, comes down with the ball, 34 yards, his first catch of the day.
Wayne Davis never made an attempt to look back. Wilson does an outstanding job of putting air underneath this ball, allowing Moffitt to run underneath it. And watch Davis. He never looks back at the quarterback at all. And there's enough sideline there, room on the sideline for Moffitt to make the catch.
Excellent second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is David Neal. Our director, John Gonzalez, as we have 7:53 to play in the 3rd quarter. The Raiders and the Chargers are tied 13-13. Now the Raiders go 1st and goal. Hawkins has been in the end zone once. He gets close but didn't get in. Derry Nelson got him down just short of the goal line.
That's not fair. Absolutely not fair that Marcus Allen runs it every down between the 20s and they give it to Hawkins at the goal line. And he doesn't get in.
I agree with you.
Got to be in the framework of the body before it's a touchdown. Marcus Allen deserves a carry into the end zone here as hard as he's worked today.
Well, if he lines up and the eye's set, you know where he's going. Up over the top. One of the other things, this man can fly. That's where they're going. Marcus Allen is into the end zone. Touchdown Raiders.
Marcus Allen, the ball carrier. 1 yard.
Marcus Allen has now scored 4 touchdowns against the Chargers this season. 15 career touchdowns, as you see, in 8 games. Man can find the end zone.
Well, finally they give him the opportunity to find the end zone. Excellent timing on this play. Great spring in those legs as much as he's carried it and caught it today. 6 points for the Los Angeles Raiders. They've not played well, and they lead.
Whatever it takes, but we're a long way from done. 7-11 left to play in the game. Barr drills the extra point. You'll remember he's missed one of those. Penalty markers down on the extra point. 19-13. Do we see how the extra point came out?
Yeah, kicking has been a problem today. 1 blocked, 1 hit, 1 missed.
12 men on the field by the defense. Punt was good. 5 yards on the kickoff.
Only works in Canada. We'll be back with the Raiders in the lead, 20-13.
Marcus Allen today, Don, has accounted for 127 total yards, 71 rushing, 56 receiving. He's dropped several passes and had several runs called back by penalties. He has earned his salary today.
His salary is a handsome one and deserves to be. Chris Barr ready to kick it off now for the Raiders with 7-11 to play in the 3rd quarter. Los Angeles leading in this game 20-13. Missed extra point early in the game could loom large as we wear on, and now in down to the end zone, Lionel James, who is short, but he's not small, as Little Trainers likes to say. He also can get up in the air. He can stuff a basketball at 5'6".
I'd like to see that. Last time the Raiders and the Chargers played, Dan Fouts was sacked 5 times in the first half of the game in the Coliseum. Today, no sacks at all on Fouts.
A few 5'6s around against Spud Webb. Atlanta Hawks. First down and 10 now for the Chargers. They go to the run, and Spencer, a big Ohio State fullback, takes it ahead for just 2 yards. Both arms on the ball. The Chargers with perhaps the most diverse offense in all of pro football, Trump, but there's only so much of it can use when you're down pinning your own end.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, I think they're changing their offense on the fly here. In the last 5 or 6 games, they like to keep those 4 greatest athletes, Chandler and the 3 running backs, and at times Charlie Joyner, in the game as much as they possibly can.
Raider defense big and confident, always keeping the pressure on. Buford McGee turns the corner though and dives ahead to that red marker. That's good for a first down for the Chargers. Matt Millen made the knockout.
You could see Mike Davis, the strong safety, as McGee gets up limping, out there with the pitch man, 40, Gary Anderson. They have practiced against this offense run by the San Diego Chargers a lot. McGee cuts upside. You see that's Stacy Turan and Mike Davis both out there with Gary Anderson shutting off the pitch. McGee picks up the first down.
Buford McGee with a heavy limp now coming off the field. We've had a lot of turned ankles in this game. You were saying, no, Trump, you think this is about the best playing field in the league?
Consistently, this is one of the best fields that you'll play on. Although last year it was very bad. I can't tell you why. They called it Astro Dirt here in San Diego.
It's real grass, though.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Buford McGee sits down. Now Dan Fouts takes a look at a new formation as he sets up. Anderson, the wing back to the lower portion of your screen. James goes in motion. Fouts gunning the ball long. Anderson is out there diving for the ball. He can't get it to the 42-yard line of the Raiders. Dan Fouts spreads the ball around. If you get open, he'll get you the ball.
That is correct. Also one of those timing quarterbacks. Often wondered why the San Diego Chargers, such a prolific throwing team, never went to the shotgun. And Ernie Zampese, their offensive coordinator, said that Fouts is a timing passer. And he likes to set up, take the ball from center. And when the team warms up before the game, he doesn't just stand there and throw that. Every single time he takes it from the center and sets up.
No shotgun. Everybody wonders why they don't have one, but as you point out, it's all timing in this very in-sync passing game of the Chargers. 2nd down and 10 coming up now. Anderson breaks it. Oh, this is a player. Gary Anderson straight ahead breaks tackles. He's not that big, 200 pounds, but he broke tackles and got ahead for 13 yards and a San Diego first down.
Watch the acceleration. He runs right through an arm here. Todd Martin is no slouch when it comes to tackling. And that's a quick 13-yard pickup by Gary Anderson. Just his 6th game in the NFL. Last week, his first 100-yard rushing performance in the NFL against Denver.
Chargers felt they had to run the ball to keep the Raider pass rush honest. 76% of San Diego's offense this season has come on the passing game. Right back to Gary Anderson, 6 feet, a little over 190 actually they list him at. And he's ahead for a couple of yards out to the 47-yard line. They've never paid yet to see the great pass blockers. They see the great passers pay for them. But pass offense starts with pass blocking. They've done a better job keeping the rush off Fouts. Danny White has just thrown to Tony Dorsett on a 48-yard scoring play. Dallas now leads favored Washington 13-0.
Keep going.
Free play. Fouts lets her rip. Incomplete at the 33-yard line. Lyle Alzado is very open in the neutral zone.
Yes, the neutral zone. He was almost out the end of the stadium.
Offsides. Number 77 on the defense. Holding. Number 68 on the offense. Offset. Second down.
Offset. That's Kowalski on the other side. Top of the screen. Lyle Alzado clearly offsides. Bottom of the screen, 68 holding on Long. I had a player, I won't mention his name. When the latter stages of a game, he played defensive line. He would always jump off sides just to get his name mentioned on television. It was in his game plan.
Man sounds like a real asset. I'm surprised he's not still in the league.
Used to play here.
You got to tell us who that is. Here is Tim Spencer open inside the 40, inside the 35. Matt Dunleavy's down to the 24-yard line of the Raiders. A 28-yard gain.
Don, this is another blown coverage by the Los Angeles Raiders. Very uncharacteristic of the Raiders. Watch Spencer just step outside. There's a blitz coming. No one picks up Spencer, and he's off to the races. He's a big guy. It's a nice tackle by Bill Backel, almost 30 yards down the field after rushing the quarterback.
Big Buckeye from Ohio State. Tim Spencer with a 28-yard reception. Now the ball's positioned inside the 25-yard line of the Raiders. Los Angeles leads 20-13. 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at San Diego. Kellen Winslow with a penalty marker down. Not down. He's going in. Winslow takes on Kepler. Kellen Winslow's in the end zone. There is a marker down, though, and it's in the Raiders secondary.
This may be an offensive pick by the San Diego Chargers. That's
what the signal Mike Davis says is going to go against San Diego.
Yep, that's a pick on Lionel James. Yep, big as life. Somebody ran a pick.
Coach Coryell.
Offensive pass interference. Number 80, still first down.
Got Winslow on it.
They tried to flood this side with receivers and then screen off people, and apparently Kellen Winslow just pushed off, and that's illegal.
So instead of 6 and what would have been an extra point attempt that would have broken the tie, it comes back to the 35-yard line, and the Raiders still lead the game 20-13. Lone setback is the fleet Gary Anderson. He gets the ball. And the Raiders get him. The 33-yard line.
Buford McGee out now for the rest of the game. We're told from the Charger bench he's pulled a hamstring.
So that'll hurt. He was getting the ball a lot, Buford McGee. Lionel James has been a big force in the San Diego offense, catching a lot of passes today.
McGee's the guy on that pitch, too. He's the one who takes it from the quarterback and then gets it out to Gary Anderson. Let's watch Lionel James down here near side of the field, Don. He's out here by himself, and he'll have Mike Davis in coverage. Oh, look at this.
Little James. He's going in. Touchdown, San Diego.
Brilliant.
Smallest player in the league right now. He's the biggest man in San Diego.
This is brilliant by Dan Fouts. All he did was catch the Los Angeles Raiders slow in deploying their defense. There is nobody out there whatsoever. Fouts realizes it, just throws it to James. Once again,
he put 3 guys on the floor with moves.
Yep, but it started because the Raiders were slow in deploying their defense.
The little big man of the Chargers gets in the end zone, and now they can break the tie. Bob Thomas to try the point after. He gets it. And with 3 minutes and 8 seconds to play in the third quarter, it is San Diego 21, LA 20. Now the ruling no good. It's 20-20 at San Diego. The Chargers and the Raiders. Buford McGee on the sidelines, and now more falls on the hands of Little Train James. Look at the swing pass out to him. He puts 3 people on the floor and takes it into the end zone for 33 yards and a touchdown. The extra point by Bob Thomas was good, and the game is tied now with 3:08 to play in the third quarter. Here's the kickoff. Fulton Walker takes the ball upfield, crosses the 20 and goes out to the 25-yard line. So they keep going after the hit, and right now the Raiders get the ball back first and 10, but first we have to settle this.
And I'll tell you what, the experience of Dan Fouts on that last touchdown was absolutely brilliant. He realized that the Los Angeles Raiders were late getting on the field, late deploying their defense. You could see at the top of the replay, Matt Millen moving, Mike Davis moving, and all he did was just signal to Lionel James, run a pattern, run anything. He set his team. Watch again at the top of the screen now. You see everybody moving around, and Matt Millen kind of jogging out there. There's nobody out there to cover Lionel James. And then he does make a couple of spectacular moves into the end zone. 20-20 the score.
A lot of big people on the ground as Little Train goes into the end zone. That's Fulton Walker, who just ran back the kickoff for the Raiders. He was shaken up on the hit. 2:59 to play in the third quarter. A tie game, and we'll be back right after this. Big play by Little Train James has San Diego rocking right now.
Don, I'll tell you one thing. What Don Coryell expected to happen against the Los Angeles Raiders is coming true.
Yeah.
He said if we're going to win this game, it's going to be in the last 2 minutes, and so far, it's keeping true to form.
We got the wave going here at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium as Wilson swings it out, and Marcus Allen with a blocker in front goes out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Now while we have a moment, let's go to Bob Costas and NFL 85. Bob?
Don, coming into today's game at the Orange Bowl, Clayton and Duper had caught only 2 touchdown passes between them this year. Now they each have 1 today. First Duper, now Clayton on this 22-yarder from Marino. In a do-or-die situation, the Dolphins lead 14-3. Back to Don and Trump.
Thank you, Bob. When you get a Shula team on the ropes, it's tough to get in the ring with them. And they've been on the ropes. Shula told his club this week, we have to win. Right now they are 14-3. Nobody's winning here. It's a tied game, 20-20. Swing pass goes to Allen. Penalty marker comes in as Marcus Allen on 2nd and 8 got to the 30.
And I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with we got holding against somebody. Looks like it's going to be against the offense.
Offensive holding. Offensive pass interference. Number 46. Holding. Number 57. Penalties all set. Second down.
What I was going to say, I've been very impressed with the defense of the San Diego Chargers today. They have done an outstanding job. Lyndon King, Billy Ray Smith got out there and made some big tackles against the very potent offense of the Los Angeles Raiders.
How about Little Train James? 8 receptions for 122 yards and a touchdown. That was some touchdown.
That's today.
Yeah, that's today.
That's today.
That is a season for a lot of guys. Here's a hand up to Marcus. To the 30 on 2nd and 8. Be 3rd and 5. Fulton Walker has bruised ribs. They're not sure if he'll be back today.
Marcus getting up a limping.
I'll tell you that Marcus Allen is bulletproof. He carries the ball, gets hit. Everybody out there is trying to put a helmet on him. And he took the hardest hit I've seen in the last 5 years last year at Denver. He never missed a play. He stayed in the game.
Well, they got to pack him in styrofoam the other 6 days of the week, though.
Game tied, 3rd and 5 for the Raiders. 3rd quarter. Christensen, he's been eating them up all day. Swinging out of that tight end position, getting to the open area of the zone, and he's ahead for a 1st down with a 13-yard reception.
From behind the defense, you see Christensen that time was held up at the line of scrimmage, but ran a great pattern. 50 Carlos Bradley there in coverage, but Christensen gets the job done.
There's the number. 4 receptions now, 69 yards. Remember, he had 8 for over 130 yards in the first meeting. Charger defense trying to hold off the Raiders. Hawkins looks for room, and Ian, the middle guard, made the hit. 78. San Diego seems a lot stronger, just physically stronger in the front 3 this year.
And a lot more aggressive, too, at the line of scrimmage. Ian, the nose tackle. Billy Ray Smith, 54, sliding, then realizing it's Hawkins. He figured it was going to be Marcus Allen again, too. Very little gain for the Los Angeles Raiders.
Game clock is ticking, down to 1:20 and running. Game is tied, 20-20. Mark Wilson. Openers, Jesse Hester. If the play goes, he's going in, and there's no flags. A 54-yard touchdown pass play. Jesse Hester, the rookie from Ole Miss, the #1 draft choice, who they're looking to as their speed burner of the future, has been in the end zone twice today. That time, 2 Chargers, Trump, it appeared, just bumped each other off the play trying to cover.
Don, I think they thought he was going to go out of bounds. They just relaxed a little bit when this ball was finally received. Watch what happens. Hester, just a short little pattern. Danny Walters in coverage. And you see Marcus Allen does a good job on a block. 54 yards later, another big play. Los Angeles Raiders, they lead by 6, soon to be 7.
When he gets an open field, you're chasing the wind trying to catch Jesse Hester. 9-300 man. Here's the extra point hit up and good.
I like Hester's percentages. 2 catches today, 2 touchdowns.
In the end zone twice, and the Raiders break the tie, and they now lead 27-20 with 59 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter.
Watch Marcus Allen. We've commented how well he does running. We certainly know what he does catching the ball, but Allen realizes he gets 1 block, he gets 2 blocks. Hester stays in bounds. Allen ought to get 3.5 points on that one.
Unusual, but the Raiders have a history of doing whatever it takes, and right now they've broken the tie with a 27-20 lead, and 59 seconds to play yet in the third quarter. Barr ready to kick off again, and Fouts has eaten up the Raider pass coverage pretty well today too.
And we have seen some unusual today, haven't we?
Last time the Chargers were in the end zone on the 33-yard pass play to Little Train James, and now they drop back James and Gary Anderson to return the kickoff of Chris Barr. Whole quarter left to go in this one, including 59 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Raiders and the Chargers, they don't like each other. Nobody likes the Raiders when they come to town, but they sure fill buildings. James at the 2-yard line. Amazing little man. He'll go into those big piles of big people. All of a sudden, you'll see him shoot out one end of it.
Yeah, he's a very durable back, too, for his size, 5'6". And I think they're being very generous in saying he's 170.
I kind of doubt that 5'6 1/4.
And he's almost got the bottom of his number tucked all the way down in his pants. He's so short.
He's in the backfield now. At full house backfield, they run the option offense. Let's see what they go to on 1st down and 10. Spencer, the power back, takes it out to the 26-yard line. Got 3. 2nd down and 7. Long made the tackle for the Raiders. Game clock down to 35 seconds and running now in the third quarter. And the Raiders lead the game 27-20.
Still no sacks by the Los Angeles Raiders against San Diego.
None at all.
This is a team that came into this game getting after the quarterback. 39 sacks they'd had.
2nd down and 7. Fouts play faking. Here's the big rush, and Patel, the nose tackle, gets him. Dan Fouts is down.
And writhing in pain.
Yeah, he looks like he split the bridge of his nose there.
Piquel comes from right over the center. No, Ed White couldn't quite get him. And it looks like his helmet comes down on the top of his nose. First sack of the day. And 40th of the season for the Los Angeles Raiders. By the way, they have 11 guys with sacks this season. Can you imagine that? The only starter who doesn't have the sack, Lester Hayes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Dan Fouts has missed almost 4 complete games this season with injuries. He's not finished the last 2 seasons because of injuries. They've got to take good care of him. He was hit in the nose the last time, as you see the pretty even numbers. But on the scoreboard, the Raiders, through 3 quarters of play, lead 27-20. Tip ball. Moving up on it was Rod Martin of the Raiders, looking to try for the intercept. And again, Dan Fouts sees the play complete from seat of his pants.
On that time, the Los Angeles Raiders came with what a lot of people are now referring to as the bear defense. They bunched defensive linemen at the line of scrimmage. Center and both guards are covered. There you see Piquel and Townsend running on a game, and Long gets his hand up and tips the ball away, incompletion.
Joe Theismann just threw a touchdown pass for the Redskins to Gary Clark from 11 yards out. It's now a 13-7 game. Dallas is in the lead. End over end punt hit downfield by Moshenko. Fielding it on the run is Mike Haynes. He's across midfield down to the 47-yard line of San Diego. A 39-yard punt and an 8-yard return. And the Raiders have the ball in the lead when we come back. Carlos Bradley shaken up for the San Diego Chargers. He's helped off the field. He had a big game today. He intercepted one earlier, remember. Bad ankle for Carlos, and Woodrow Lowe will come into the game to play injured. The 10-year veteran from Alabama who's been such a big part of the Charger team over the last decade.
I'm going to bet the Los Angeles Raiders go right at 51. Woody Lowe. Raiders have a habit of that. Somebody new comes in, they'll try him. Sweep left.
Let's find out now as we go from an open set in the backfield. Second back through. Marcus Allen. Quick move to the outside, but Derry Nelson, the young linebacker from Nebraska, filled and made the tackle for the Chargers as with 14:35 to play in the game. The 2nd down and 7.
Field position in the second half now certainly in favor of the Los Angeles Raiders, and this time they start inside the San Diego part of the field.
Chargers need the ball back. Raiders in that big touchdown pass play, the second of the day, to Jesse Hester at a 27-20 lead. Wilson looking for more. Marcus Allen's out there, and at the last moment the ball is slapped away from him. It would have been 6. Now we go back to Bob Costas in NFL 85.
All right, Don, at the Orange Bowl, the Jets moved to within 4 of the Dolphins at 14-10. Ken O'Brien on the pass to Freeman McNeil. The play covers 14 yards. Now, Pat Leahy has a field goal in this game for the Jets, but he's also missed 3 within his range, and that's the difference right now.
Bad day for the Booters, as back here in San Diego, Bob Thomas of the Chargers has missed 2 rather sure shot field goals. And it's a 27-20 game. Raiders in the lead. Raiders with the ball. 3rd down and 7. They get Wilson. Markers down. Fred Robinson. Big dog from Miami, they call him. Had 2 sacks last week. Rookie from Miami of Florida.
It's going to be against the defense. Yep.
That's what it is. So the sack is negated and a personal foul call against the defense.
Boy, the defense has played so well to this point in the ball game. You certainly hope that they're not just falling apart here. That's unusual.
Unnecessary ruckus. Number 51 on the defense. 1st down.
Woodrow Lowe.
Woody Lowe's only been in the game for 2 plays.
Yeah. How many football games have you ever seen where the Raiders have less penalties for less yards than their opponent? It's happening today. Look at this.
I once asked Norm Schachter, the longtime NFL official who now works with the league office, why the Raiders always lead the league in penalties. Said the reason's simple. They foul more.
Seems pretty elementary, doesn't it?
They'll win a lot, too. Right now, they're holding to a 7-point lead, 27-20, as Marcus Allen with that quick spread up the middle. Loose ball. Was he down? If he wasn't, they got more yards because Dokie Williams fell on the ball.
He is counted down. Tell you what, there are a lot of coaches, Don. You mentioned penalty yardage. Watch Woody Lowe here from the outside. He's not supposed to play. He's been banged up for the last couple of weeks. Makes the initial hit. There are certain coaches that like penalties because that means that your team is aggressive today.
They don't like those defensive penalties that give them a 1st down. The Raiders controlling the ball and the clock down. They lead on the scoreboard 27-20. 13:09 to play in the game. Hawkins stood up at the 20-yard line. He'll be short of the 1st down by about 3 yards. Jeff Dale, the rookie free safety, made the knockdown.
Pick up of 4 yards. Stop by number 37.
San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium is sold out. In fact, an all-time attendance record here, 58,566. As the Raiders and the Chargers meet for the 52nd time over the 26 years they've been competing. Raiders looking for their 8th straight win over San Diego. Chargers looking to get the ball now if they can. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2 for Los Angeles. Hawkins the lone setback. Wilson takes a look. Tip ball. 4th down. Earl Wilson might have had a hand on the ball. Number 93. Well, they got some horses in that front line.
He's one of them, too. Didn't get a lot of penetration. Defensive coaches will teach defensive linemen that when you sense that the quarterback is about to throw the ball, just stop your rush, get your hands up, so that like a picket fence throwing the ball, and that time it worked. Matt Barr on for a field goal of 38 yards.
Barr's problems this year have come between the 40 and the 49. He's 2 for 8. Snap and set down good, and he is wide left. He didn't get there. So it's still a 7-point game, Raiders, but the Chargers get the ball back. And we'll be back to San Diego right after this. No matter who wins today, it'll not be a game remembered fondly by Bob Thomas or Chris Barb. Normally, Trump, field goal kickers win a lot of games. Today, they're keeping the other team in the ball game.
You're absolutely right. You know what's cruel about both kickers? They can't find anybody to talk to on that sideline. I mean, they don't have a friend in the world over there when they miss one, and when they make one, everybody pats you on the head.
Dan Fouts got a man. Good for 9 out to the 29-yard line. Matt Millen made the hit. Millen said during the week, before the Seattle game, we were starting to feel pretty good about ourselves. Didn't take us long to put our foot in our mouth.
Yeah, really. They don't like playing Seattle. By the way, that's Charlie Joyner's first reception of the afternoon. NFL's all-time leading receiver, Mr. Clutch for San Diego.
Dark now. Starting to get that way in San Diego. It's been an overcast day. Lights have been on since the outset. 27-20. Raiders have the lead. Chargers have the ball. Needing a big play. Anderson's not going to get one, as on second down he runs wide.
And you know, that injury to Buford McGee of the San Diego Chargers is a critical injury to this offense. We have not seen that three-back offense since Buford McGee went out. They've had to go to pretty much the standard sweeps and all the rest of that stuff. So Chargers right now going with a game plan they really don't want, but lots of yards.
Chargers have to get to what works for them, though. It's 3rd down and 1. There's Buford McGee out with a hamstring pull. The bombs away offensive. Dan Fouts and the Chargers. One of the headlines in the paper today said today Eric Coryell's going to taxi a little bit more. Keep it on the ground. They're doing now. Anderson slashing for the 1st down.
He gets it.
He does indeed. He's out to the 32-yard line, and San Diego will operate with 4 new downs from there. Knocked down on the play by Sean Jones and Reggie McKenzie.
Lionel James, I noticed, comes in the ball game. Anderson stays. Kellen Winslow goes out.
A lot of guys get to play football in this offense. Their offense looks like a defense on most teams with as many people coming in and out.
And I'll tell you, the people they have there, Anderson, Chandler, Joyner, Spencer, 4 very gifted athletes. Now, Raiders are not sure exactly what they're going to do here, run or pass.
A lot of speed in that backfield. Can accelerate like sports cars. Here's a swing. Lionel James helps out with the ball at the 43-yard line. The man is 7 feet tall.
Rod Martin in coverage.
You think he might be able to dunk now?
Whoa. James runs a fake out. Watch the pump by Fouts. Well, he doesn't even pump it. But James runs an out, then an up, and really goes up for an offensive rebound and comes down with it. 9th catch. Now 151 yards in receiving yards.
And of course, one good for 33 yards and a touchdown. We could be going to OT today. Right now, it's the Raiders leading by 7. And Fouts takes a look. Man is open. Chandler going for the ball. It's broken up beautifully by Lester Hayes.
Played it perfectly.
Chandler had him beaten. Lester Hayes, when the ball came back at it, and Dan Fouts has to take a look at that one again.
Chandler is open early, but unfortunately, Fouts can't get it to him. This is well defense by Lester Hayes, who can make the big play for you.
The words of Coryell. Looming larger. This is going to come right down to the final gun, said Don Coryell to his team all week.
Only the same quarterback goes over the 300-yard mark for the Raiders, and he's the only one to do it.
It's news when he doesn't go over 300 yards.
That's true. That's true.
2nd down. Anderson finds a way to get about 4 as he's inside the 40-yard line of the Raiders. Knocked down by Rod Martin, Pro Bowl linebacker for Los Angeles, and that team's leading tackler.
One of the most exciting 2 players in the NFL in 1985. One is one that weighs 325 pounds and one that weighs half that much. James and William Perry.
So far, there's been nothing untowards about any of the calls in the game. We're told the Rams got one they're going to complain about.
Here's his formation again. Now it's hard to tell exactly what the Chargers are going to do.
3rd and 7. He gets it away just before he's hit. Kellen Winslow is out of bounds at the 29-yard line. First down, San Diego.
And Fouts down 11 yards on the reception. Don, we are seeing the next generation of offensive football right here. The Raiders are having a tough time knowing whether to set up to stop the run or the pass.
Right now, they're not stopping anything. The biggest play in this drive, though, is the 26-yard throw to Little Train James, who went up over a much taller linebacker to take it down. First down and 10, San Diego. 8:28 to play in the game. Raiders lead at 27-20. Lionel James, look at him go inside the 25. He's down to the 23-yard line. Wow. All those big Raiders hit him. He gets up, jawing at him, looking to get the ball again.
Came into the game as the Chargers leading rusher, the Chargers leading receiver, the Chargers leading punt returner, the Chargers leading kickoff returner.
I tried to trip him. Stuck a foot out. Didn't take him long to learn the playbook either. Little Train James is an engineering grad of Auburn. Second down and a long 3 now for the Chargers. Spencer. And the Raiders stuff that run as the game clock is running. 7:40 to go and running. Fourth quarter. Los Angeles leads San Diego 27-20.
Hard to believe that these two teams played 13 days ago. Dan Fouts won't touch that blood on his nose either. That's the badge of courage right there. He walks in the huddle. You look at your quarterback with blood on his nose. You play better. You really do.
You get the idea. Maybe he'll start blocking it.
Yep. This guy's a tough cookie.
Third down and less than 2. Fouts play fake and swings it out. Here's Anderson inside the 20. First down and more. He's not done. He's going in. Touchdown. 21 yards.
I can't remember a game with more big plays in his 1985 season.
This one's really been fun.
Raiders can't tell whether they're going to run or pass. Watch the move here. Davis sets him up squarely. He runs right through his arms by Haynes into the end zone. An extra point, and we're going to have a tie ball game.
They used to have a tremendous receiver here named Gary Garrison. They called the Ghost. This looks like the new Ghost. Now you see him, now you don't. A puff of smoke. Gary Anderson, he goes into the end zone. Extra point is good, and the game is tied. Marcus Allen had a big first half. He's been closed off much more in the second half. As you point out, Trump, this has been a day of big plays. The last to make one, Gary Anderson of the Chargers, as he went into the end zone, putting moves on he might not even knew he had. Sam Seal, he's a flyer, but not on this play as he's stuck back. He's in trouble now, and they're going to run him out of bounds inside the 20 at the 16-yard line. Wow. The Chargers special teams are inspired by the big play of the offense that tied the game. It's 27-27 with 6:54 to play.
Last time these two teams played, the special teams were very poor for San Diego. Today they've been brilliant.
Next week, in first games, the Steelers, one of the co-leaders in the AFC Central, go to Houston to play the Oilers. Miami's at Indianapolis. Some great second games, including Cincinnati and the Raiders. New England goes to Seattle. Cincinnati, the other AFC Central leader. San Diego plays at Denver next Sunday. Kansas City at San Francisco. All late starting games Eastern time.
I know how dumb it is to make a comment about a great player, but Marcus Allen to this point has got 21 carries and 5 catches. I think they just about used him up, and right now is when they need him the most.
He's still got some left. Marcus Allen gets the ball and takes it out to the 20-yard line. He got 4, maybe 5. 6:47 to play. The Raiders, high-level artisans at winning the close games in the final moments, and they have a stage possibly set again today with 6:30 to play and the clock running in the fourth quarter. The game tied 27-all. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium with a record crowd. Making noise. Have all day. The Raiders with Wilson at quarterback go to the throw. Free ball. Almost up for grabs as all those blue shirts making a play on it. 3 linebackers diving.
Lyndon King, his ball thrown low. Watch Marcus Allen now. He doesn't have the fresh legs. This ball is thrown low. No question about that. Bounces right off his knee. But boy, a guy like this is the time of the game. You want to give him the ball, get him the ball. That's an awful lot. That's a lot of use for Marcus Allen. 9 games into the season. Now the 10th.
He likes it, though. Like all the great ones, the more they get it, the more they like it. Marcus Allen now runs a pattern as Wilson takes a look. Swings it out. Goes to Hawkins, and he's ahead for a Raider first down out to the 30-yard line. Clock runs down to 6 minutes and running in the 4th quarter, and the game is tied 27-all.
Gary Nelson, you can see Hawkins. He's going to block if a man blitzes. The man doesn't, so he releases right underneath the linebacker coverage. Excellent pickup, and obviously the Chargers looking for Marcus Allen. Hawkins comes up open.
Raiders held a 13-10 halftime lead. Then it was tied 13-0. Then they extended their lead to 20-13. Now it's a tie game again at 27. As the Raiders go to the run, you know, pretty soon they're going to put it up top.
Well, they almost have to, but you also want to be conservative here, Don, with 5:24 and ticking left in the 4th quarter. Hilger standing in the way of the assistant coach, so the Chargers can't see the hand signals. Into Mark Wilson.
Ball position at the 34-yard line. Mark Wilson makes sure everybody's on the same page and gets set to take the snap. Mosbar gives it to him. And Todd Christensen makes another first down reception for the Raiders. Getting inside the coverage and coming up the ball, then turning upfield, and the Raiders now have the ball out to their 42-yard line and first down.
Nobody held up Todd Christensen. He just runs a 8 or 9 yard pattern, turns around, and is right between Bird and Billy Ray Smith making the tackle. That's easy pickings for the Raiders. You got to hold that guy up.
Those big Raider linemen dig in now to give him time. Davis and Hanna. Mosbar, Marvin, and Lawrence. Handoff goes, and they run the ball on first down to the 45-yard line, do the Raiders. Woody Lowe makes the knockdown as you see the game clock ticking down to 4:08 to play.
Does he look tired to you carrying the ball?
Got to be tired.
24 carries, 95 yards, a number of receptions, also several drops.
The real burner in this offense today, though, has been Jesse Hester, the rookie wide receiver. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. The last for 54 yards. There he is at the top of your screen. They're going to look his way before long. Maybe right now. Long ball incomplete at the 30-yard line. Williams coming off the near flank was the nearest receiver, but I think Wilson threw it away. Coverage was good.
Williams fell down, slipped on the turf.
We'll take you out of the play.
Yeah, another big third down conversion for the Los Angeles Raiders.
Incomplete pass stops the clock. Sam Bogosian, one of the offensive line coaches on the left there. Coach Flores.
Well, I'd certainly look at either Christensen or Marcus Allen in this situation. There's Jim Plunkett. Art Shell standing right next to him, right in front of him.
Jim Plunkett still out with a shoulder injury. Now Mark Wilson, with the defense changing and the crowd noise loudening, calls a timeout. Raiders have 2 left. The Chargers have all 3 of theirs with 3:35 to play. And we'll be back to San Diego right after this. The 85 NFL season starts down the stretch run of regular season play pretty soon. Some good matchups next week. It all begins next Sunday with NFL 85 here on NBC Sports. And NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle will be the guest, as the games include Pittsburgh at Houston, Miami at Indianapolis, the Bills at Cleveland. Then in late starting games, the Raiders are at home to play the Bengals, who won again today and are a co-leader in the AFC Central. The Patriots go to Seattle. Seahawks won today. So did New England. San Diego goes to Denver. Always a tough place to win a football game.
Did I hear that they're going to have a live audience? Yeah, a live studio audience in NFL 85.
asking questions of the commissioner. But right now, we've got 3:35 to play at San Diego. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The Raiders, who've won 7 straight games against the Chargers, lining up in this tie game, 3rd down and 7. A lot of speed on both flanks. Lone setback is Hawkins. Here comes the rush. Wilson gets time. The ball is caught by Christensen, and he fights his way ahead. It looks like he has the first down to the 47. On sheer strength, Todd Christensen fights his way ahead for 4 new downs.
John Handy in the coverage. Tight ends got to expect contact and then win that contact. It's a spin. Then he kind of elbows him out of the way, makes the catch, keeps his body between the ball and the defensive back, and another big first down pickup.
Has not been a great day for the place kickers if this game comes down to that. Pressure building. We're inside 3 minutes to go. First down. Marcus Allen has plenty left as he's down to the 36-yard line. He has another Raider first down with 2:45 to play.
Over 100 yards, and certainly didn't look tired on that play, did he? 25 carries.
It's what, his 5th 100-yard game this season. You get in Marcus Allen's numbers every week. There's some new record. They break their own.
Pretty impressive. The lone loss last week to Seattle. There were 13 100-yard rushing performances, 2 in 1 game, so that meant that there were 12 games, and of the 12 games, 11 teams won. The Raiders the only loser.
And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KCST-TV, San Diego.
We're at San Diego, where Coach Don Coryell to the right looks on. The Raiders have the ball. The Raiders and the Chargers tied 27 all with 2:26 to play in the game. Clock is running as the Raiders go 1st and 10 from the 37. Hawkins turns the corner, and he's down inside the 25-yard line. Gilbert and Jeff Dale, the safeties, got him as we're going to wind down to the 2-minute warning. An 11-yard run by Frank Hawkins.
Great block, too, by Marcus Allen out in front of him. And in case you're wondering, Chris Barr's longest successful field goal of the 1985 season, 41 yards.
So the 2-minute warning is given. We'll be back.
What did you decide? Quarterback Mark Wilson.
All the scores and the stories of this 10th Sunday of play in the National Football League coming up when this game concludes and we go to NFL 85. Right now, though, we've got 2 minutes to go, and there's nobody better in the pro football business than the Raiders at playing beat the clock, as Chris Barr thinks the lonely thoughts of a place kicker whose foot might decide a football game.
Don, when you miss a field goal and you're a field goal kicker, you might as well speak a foreign language, because nobody's going to be talking to you.
Only position in football where a guy can know nothing about the game of football and decide a game.
Look at that drive.
Barr knows a lot about it, but there's been guys who've played in this league. John Smith of the New England Patriots, first NFL game he ever played in, was the first one he was ever at or saw. Over from England. 2 minutes to go, and the Raiders, masters of beat the clock, set up now. 1st down and 10. Looking to angle. They want to use up some clock, though. Fouts can go a long way without much time. Marcus Allen looks to turn the corner. He stops the clock with 1:54 to play. Danny Walters ran him out of bounds. You'll remember Walters' big play in the first quarter. The opening Raider drive right down the field. Then Walters intercepted in the end zone to stop a touchdown.
Remember, this drive started at the Los Angeles Raiders 16-yard line. This has been a brilliant drive by the Los Angeles Raiders.
A lot of prep went into it, too. Carlos Bradley went out, injured ankle. Seen a lot of troops go down in this game. 1:54 to play, and the game is tied 27 all.
Watch Christensen.
Always. He's set to the left of the top of your screen. 46 running a pattern. Wilson takes a look at him. Throws. Christensen is in the end zone for a touchdown.
I don't believe it.
24 yards and a touchdown. It's not over yet, though. 1:49 to play.
Low 5.
A whole new way to celebrate. These guys have experienced every celebration there is on a football field.
Don, this is an excellent pattern run by Christensen. He gets an outside release Now he's got a cornerback, Gilbert, right there with him. You see the move up inside. I'll tell you what, that guy plays tight end like a wide receiver. 2 games, he is absolutely just beaten up on the San Diego Chargers.
Tell you one thing, 245-pound tight end. Bird didn't cover himself with Flory trying to cover him. A little defensive back supposed to be a specialist to that. But Christensen beats him with a move, and the Raiders now go for the extra point, which they get. 1:49 to play, and it's 34-27. The Chargers get it back. The lineup tonight on NBC television leads off with Punky Brewster, the NBC Sunday night movie Streets of Justice. His wife and child were murdered, and he's fighting back.
All right, watch this touchdown again. The release, a little fake outside. Bird bites on it. Christensen in 2 games, 14 catches, 142 yards against the San Diego Chargers. And I'd watch this kickoff. They just had a meeting over here on the sideline. Watch for something funny here by the Chargers.
Spinner hit down. Little Train takes it at the goal line. He's out to the 29-yard line. Something funny is Little Train busting at the distance.
Yeah, well, I thought they were going to run a reverse or something because they met for the longest time on the sideline, and here comes that San Diego 2-minute offense.
The bombs away offense of the San Diego Chargers. Anybody can get him down there. Fouts is the man. Christensen might have had the game winner on his last reception, the touchdown catch. With 1:43 left to play, the Chargers will try to get in the end zone. And down by 7. Fouts looks. He's got Anderson, and he is a load. This guy's got more. Look at Anderson. He's inside the 40. Look at, he's still going. And Anderson's down to the 33-yard line.
And then a right cross by Mike Haynes brings him down. What a play. 38 yards. Well, this guy's going to be busy for the San Diego Chargers for the next number of years. Congratulations, Mr. Alex Spanos, for signing him to a contract. There's 1 shot at him. There's 2, 3, 4. Watch this right cross by Mike Haynes bringing him down. Whoop. Yes, sir. To the ground. He is a brilliant athlete.
And he gets the Chargers in position, but field goals are of no account now. They need a touchdown. They need an extra point to send this to overtime. Washington has been beaten by Dallas. Final score, the Cowboys 13, the Redskins 7. Here at San Diego, Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. 1:30 left to play in regulation. Maybe in the game, the Raiders are leading 34-27, but the Chargers roaring back, hitting big plays, and now they have the ball first down at the 33-yard line of the LA Raiders. Chandler on the right flank. Tremaine Johnson on the left. Bounce goes to Little Train James. Look at him go. Up the middle, he's down to the 19-yard line. 1:23 to play and running.
Look, I'm dead serious when I say this. I want him to play more. I don't want him to stop. Keep it up.
This has been great. It has. Here's Fouts on first down. Stands in. He throws. He's got a man who loses the ball. Charlie Joyner at the 10-yard line. Sam Seal was right with him for the Raiders.
He hasn't been used a lot today. Rather surprising to see Charlie let this one slip away from him. Full blitz coming by the Raiders. Picked up. That's an easy catch, but Charlie couldn't hang on. 2nd and 10.
Fouts is unbelievable. He sees everything out there.
Absolutely. And he backs away from the center, so he's got a good field of vision. And when he's on, he's beautiful.
1:07 to play in the game. That is the game clock superimposed at the top of your screen. It's 27 for the Chargers, 34 for the Raiders. So San Diego has to hit into the end zone. Fouts goes down at the 28. Only the 2nd sack of him today. The game clock now shows 1:02 to play, but a big down arrives. It's going to be 3rd down coming up.
We got a flag down in the defensive backfield of the Raiders. Greg Townsend got the sack.
Holding. Number 45 on the defense. First down.
James Davis. 5 yards and an automatic first down. You have no idea how big a penalty that was. Because of the sack, the Chargers would have had to take a timeout. It's the last 2 minutes, so they set the ball and start the clock. Boy, what a saving penalty against the Raiders for the Chargers.
And of course, it is also a first down with 1:02 to play. First down for the Chargers. 14-yard line of the Raiders.
I got to get the ball to James here, don't you? Somehow.
There's a lot of people out there who aren't bad with it. They're all in the game. Joyner goes in motion. Fouts stands in, takes a look, makes a throw. It's tipped beautifully by the Raiders. Rod Martin got a hand on the ball to break up what would have been a touchdown throw as Lionel James was open.
Ran a curl route out of the backfield. Martin had a perfect drop. Just reading the eyes of the quarterback. Sean Jones, Piquel, both with arms up. Martin able to get up there. Just tipped the ball away, or you're right, that's 6 points.
So the numbers break down. It's been even all day. Raiders by 3 at halftime. Now the Raiders by 7, but the Chargers challenging with their brilliant veteran quarterback Dan Fouts. 57 seconds to play in regulation. And now the Chargers use a timeout. So Dan Fouts comes over. Make sure that he gets all the counsel he can as the game is on the line.
I think the Raiders changed defenses on him, saw something he didn't expect, and no question he realizes the importance of this last 14 yards here for the Chargers. So counsel is good at this point.
The words of Coach Don Coryell looming large all day long. He told his team during the week, if we win, it'll be at the very end of the game. He didn't say anything about overtime, but that could happen if the Chargers can get it in the end zone. Dave Levy, one of the coaches there, Marv Braden, the other.
The Chargers and the Raiders have played one overtime game in their 52. September 14th, 1980. San Diego won that game 30-24.
The AFC West has gained the reputation as the best in football. The Raiders, that's how they stand right now, as you're well aware. Denver, of course, hooking up with the 49ers tomorrow night at Mile High Stadium. Seattle was a winner today impressively at New Orleans. Kansas City has gone south. The Chiefs opened up with a 3-1 record, have now lost 6 games in a row. Coach Makovic took away their free lunches during the week.
Showing blitz here, the Raiders are.
Big rush coming, and here it comes. Fouts stands in, lets it go. Penalty markers down, man is open. Touchdown, Charlie Joyner. 14 yards and a touchdown.
That's going to be defensive offsides. Touchdown counts.
I'll tell you something, though. This is the Raiders get it back now at 53 seconds to play.
I want to negotiate for another quarter. I don't want sudden death. I want him to keep playing. This is the best I've seen in years.
Defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Billy Brown on the left. Defensive backfield coach of the Raiders and head coach Tom Flores. Charlie Joyner, a 17-year veteran, has caught more passes than any player in National Football League history. On the receiving end of a big one from Dan Fouts.
That ball looked tipped.
You think this isn't big now? Bob Thomas has had kind of a shaky day. But he's right there on the extra point. 53 seconds to play. The game is tied at 34.
Well, look once again at the touchdown by the San Diego Chargers. A very critical touchdown by the San Diego Chargers. And I thought this ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Well, Fouts was from behind the defense. You see the full blitz coming. Martin. No, not tipped. What a catch by Charlie Joyner. He dropped one earlier, but had plenty of room on Sam Seal, converted wide receiver. And a tie ball game.
So the Raiders will get it back with 53 seconds to play. And Moshenko, the rookie from Michigan State, will hit this as hard as he'd ever hit a football in his life. No squid kicking here.
Yeah, that drive started at the San Diego 29 and took, I'd say, maybe a minute and no more than a minute to get the ball in the end zone. 56 seconds to get it that far and in the end zone. Gary Anderson, the big guy in the drive. Fulton Walker back in with bruised ribs.
Little did the Raiders think when they scored with what, just over a minute to play, they'd have to beat the clock again, but they will now. Game tied, 53 seconds left. Back deep to receive. Fulton Walker's back in the game. Was shaken up earlier. He's in the near side. And the far side is Sam Seal, who was just beaten on that play by Charlie Joyner. Moshenko hits the ball deep. They'll not bring that out. The Raiders have 53 seconds to get in field goal range.
Don, you got a choice now if you're the Los Angeles Raiders. Do you try for the field goal range, or do you simply try for overtime? And the biggest play in overtime is the coin flip.
Hey, there's no doubt about what the Raiders do right here. They go for get it downfield as fast and as well as they can and get in field goal range.
Chris Barr's longest field goal in 1985, 41 yards. What a game.
Okay, he's made a lot of big ones to win games in his career, and so has Bob Thomas. Now the Chargers, the Bears' all-time leading scorer in his 10 seasons there. The pressure now on the quarterback of the Raiders, Mark Wilson, to get the ball upfield. He's going to go to the run, and Marcus Allen breaks it out to the 30-yard line as they look to catch the Chargers in an all-out rush. Got ahead for 10. 44 seconds left, and then an official timeout to check the mark.
Raiders take the timeout. Raiders take the timeout. That's a first down by Marcus Allen. Notice the Chargers are playing almost a prevent defense. They're playing a 3-deep zone with.
People have lost a lot of games doing that against the Raiders.
Yeah, that's true.
44 seconds left.
Awful lot of fans out there say, wait a minute, I don't understand why you go to that prevent defense. It doesn't prevent anything. But the science of the defense is all you're trying to do is protect the yardage behind you. You don't care if they catch it in front of you. You're hoping that they either go out of bounds or the clock eats up the time before they get enough yardage to be in a field goal attempt range.
Mark Wilson, a quarterback who's not received many cheers at home in his career as a professional. Most of his career has been spent as a backup to injured Jim Plunkett, which is what brought him to the lineup again this year. Has missed 2 seasons with injuries. In the past as Mark Wilson, playing hurt now, though he's in much better shape than he was a couple of weeks ago. A lot of real estate between the Raiders and field goal range, but it happens fast in this league.
To the offense, it looks like 100 miles. To the defense, it looks like 9 inches.
First down, Raiders. Wilson takes a look. He fires, and it's incomplete at the 35-yard line. It'll be second down and 10 as Billy Ray Smith puts on a big league pop on Frank Hawkins. Clock stop with 40 seconds to play, and it's second down and 10 Raiders.
Hard to tell, actually, who's at fault here. Wilson does do a good job of looking down the field. That ball is certainly thrown behind Hawkins.
Game tie, 34-34. Marcus Allen fumbles forward. Carefully constructed by Marcus, I think. Raiders are good at that.
That stops the clock, too. That is
usually
one.
You get hit head on and the ball pops forward.
That is one smart cookie. Watch him. He's got it there. Does he throw it out of bounds? Absolutely, he throws it out of bounds. No question about it. They mark it and stops the clock. Here we go. It starts again. They realize what Marcus Allen was doing. They're not going to let him get away with it. And the Raiders don't realize that the clock is running. Now they finally do.
I think they do. They feel it. They might take overtime. So the Raiders break the huddle at their leisure, and we're going to overtime here at San Diego. Mark Wilson's not even going to take a snap.
Visiting team calls the flip of the coin. And in most instances in overtime, the coin flip has been the biggest factor in determining the outcome of overtime games. And Don Coryell is right on the money, isn't he?
Well, he is.
Think of what they've done. At the end of the first half, they drive from their own 9-yard line down for a field goal. Bob Thomas misses. And in the end of the game, in 56 seconds, they go from their own 29 for 6 points in the end zone.
It is remarkable in overtime games in the National Football League how many are won by the team that wins the toss.
That's it. That's it. That's the biggest play in overtime.
First possession means a lot. Home team makes the call. They, of course, could have a tie game if they should conceivably go 15 minutes of overtime, a full quarter in regular season, and not get a score.
Don, I think the visiting team calls the flip, just as they do at the outset of the game.
Team.
Well, we see who the two luckiest players.
George, please call it in the air.
Tail.
You call it tails? It's head. You want the ball?
Dear Charlie, we want the ball.
Pretty basic decisions taking a while to make.
Well, Rod Martin doesn't know what goal to defend.
Los Angeles won the toss.
No.
Goes to receive.
No. San Diego won the toss.
San Diego, yeah. San Diego did win the toss, and they'll get the ball. And we come back after these messages from your local station.
39 Alive.
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. We're ready to start overtime, and the Chargers have won the toss. One of the reasons we're in overtime was something that happened earlier in the game. Chris Barr in the second quarter put some excitement back in the extra point. It was up, but Billy Ray Smith, an emerging all-pro player for the Chargers, came through and slapped it back. And so when the final numbers were up at the end of regulation, not final but regulation numbers, it was 34-34. The Jets have just come from behind on a touchdown pass from Ken O'Brien to a backup tight end, Rocky Cleaver. They lead the favored Dolphins at the Orange Bowl 17-14.
Duper just scored.
Duper just scored after that.
Miami back on top, 50 yards. 21-17 Miami now.
That one has a little under a minute to play. So we start overtime as the Raiders kick off. Lionel James thinks the better of it, and he'll let it come out as a touchback. We're in overtime. Bob Thomas has missed 2 field goals, 35 and 30 yards today. He's made 1.
Do you give him another chance in overtime?
I think absolutely. The man is time tested. Kicked on a national championship team at Notre Dame. Kicked for the Bears for a long time, as we mentioned, as their all-time leading scorer. Right now, the man who makes that happen for the San Diego Chargers, Dan Fouts, gets set to roll it. First down, takes a look, swings it out. He's got a man, but not for much. Gain of 3 is all. Lionel James coming out of the backfield, cuts back at the ball. Time's not a factor now.
Excuse me, an update on that Miami Jet score. Dan Marino to Mark Duper, 50 yards with 41 seconds left.
So you got time for 2-3 more scores. Yeah. The way this league is going.
21-17 Miami over the Jets.
Lionel James comes off the field. Wes Chandler, he's been quiet for a while, but he can explode. He's wide to the right. Lower portion of your screen. Fouts, as they pick up the blitz, goes downfield. The ball is caught out to the 45-yard line. Looked like Pete Holohan. Wow. He gets a 23-yarder. He's been quiet all day.
And 400 yards to Dan Fouts. It looks so easy. Absolutely looks easy. First catch of the day by Holohan. Been somewhat forgotten. I think the Raiders are paying so much attention to James, Chandler, Stacey Turan in coverage. Big pickup. By the way, in that Miami game, Duper 8 catches, 217 yards.
This is after he's out 8 weeks with a broken leg. Man jumped. Ed White, 17-year veteran, left early, so they'll call that. And it'll bring up first down and 15. Now, while they sort things out here, let's go back to Bob Costas in New York.
Don, about a minute to play at the Orange Bowl. The Jets have just taken the lead, but Miami comes back. Here's Dick Enberg.
Going deep and open. Touchdown, Mark Duper. Duper has returned, and he is super.
Got some big stuff happening coast to coast. Right now, Dan Fouts on 1st and 15. Guns long. Going for the ball is Anderson. Nicely played by Lester Hayes of the Raiders, who knocked it away. Looking at two guys there who can run.
Yeah, he made no attempt to intercept that ball, though. You can see that it looks like Lester is betting this is the bomb all the way. You say he just knocks it away. He has no intention whatsoever of trying to intercept that ball.
Bob Thomas gets himself set. But the Raiders right now have San Diego positioned a long way from field goal range, and 2nd down and 15 is coming up for the Chargers. Anderson. And just flies. Anderson is down to the 37-yard line. We're in overtime. The game is tied 34-all. It was a 22-yard run.
Boy, he has made some big plays today. Now watch what happens. For some reason, the defense collapses. One step outside, there's nobody there. Absolutely gone. James gets a block on Stacy Turan. Anderson, that's a quick, what did you say, Dennis? How many yards? 23 yards. 23 yards on the pickup.
Bob Thomas, as the pressure builds, paces the sideline. We're in overtime, tied 34-34. Spencer, head down, bowls ahead, 2 arms on the ball. Smart football with the Raiders hunting footballs right now. And the game ball now is down to the 32-yard line. Dan Fouts at his leisure, not encumbered by any clock ticking out on him. The overtime session shows 12:20 to play. Would only be a tie game if there was no scoring through a full 15-minute overtime. Only in postseason do they go to sudden death and keep playing overtimes. We've seen San Diego one of those in Miami a few years ago. Amos with a couple of misses, but a lot of big makes in his career. Fouts throws. He's got Lionel James. He's in field goal range, and he's not done till he gets to the 17-yard line.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What an offensive display. Look at Dan Fouts. He's loving it.
Going to be New Year's Eve in San Diego if the Chargers pull this one out.
Especially the way they played the Raiders 2 weeks ago. He's just waiting for James. No question about it. Just a little curl pattern. James is surprised that there's no coverage on him whatsoever.
Lionel James, we need a calculator to get Dennis Mnuchin's numbers together for this. Lionel James with 11 receptions, 167 yards.
Mike Haynes in tackling Lionel James just, I think, knocked himself cold. Ball at the 16. Hey, look, if they score, can we still play one more drive? Can we go? I don't want it to end. Look at that.
If it's through, it's good. I think Spencer might get the ball here, Trump. Here's a final scoring now from Miami. It's 21-17. The Dolphins coming from behind in the last minute to beat the Jets, who'd come from behind with 1:06 to play. First down. Spencer might get it straight on. They're going to another runner. They're going to give it to Lionel James, and he's going to take it in for a winning touchdown. The smallest man in the NFL is 8 feet tall. Lionel Little Train James wins it.
17 yards on the carry. And I don't think a Raider laid a glove on him. Look at him. He's 8 feet tall now.
Caesar was never as big in Rome as this man's going to be in San Diego tonight.
James, 7 carries, 50 yards and a touchdown. 11 catches, 167 yards and a touchdown. And one player, Matt Millen, put a hand on him for the last 17 yards.
Let's watch it from another angle.
A great job by the offensive line. McKnight, Clapham, Kowalski, Masick, White, Lachey. Wow.
So the game is over. The Chargers win. We'll be back to San Diego after this. Nobody does it better than Dan Fouts, and certainly not his little man, Lionel Little Train James. This is the play that won the game as Lionel James breaks tackles, puts people down again, heads into the end zone in overtime. And the final numbers are up. The Chargers rally to beat the Los Angeles Raiders for the first time in 8 tries, 40-34. Now for Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui. Because of the length of today's game, you won't see Punky Brewster, but the rest of the NBC lineup is coming up. Glad you could be with us.
Charger-Raider game, and this one belongs to the Chargers. For the first time, they beat the LA Raiders. The Chargers win 40-34 in overtime. We'll have more on the Chargers and Raiders and plenty from the NFL, all coming up next on Outkick Sports Wrap. And a good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Outkick Sports Wrap. Well, you can label this a typical Charger-Raider football game. These two played their typical knockdown dragout, with the Chargers winning 40-34 in overtime. The Raiders fall to 6-4, while the Chargers go to 5-5 and still very much alive in the NFL playoffs. Well, the Chargers like to say their defense is getting better all the time. Danny Walters picks off a Raider pass. This in the opening period. And the Chargers put together a good drive, too, only to have it end right here. Bob Thomas misses a field goal. But the defense gives Air Coryell another chance. Lee Williams right there to pick up a Raider fumble, this in Raider territory. And the Chargers waste no time. Dan Fouts takes a look at everybody, hits Wes Chandler here, and what a catch. 7-0 San Diego. But the Raiders, they can air it out, too, and in a hurry. Mark Wilson, 35 yards to rookie Jesse Hester, and it's 7-7 opening period. Second period now. A turnover hurts San Diego. Fouts, Gary Anderson, he can't make the play, but Brad Van Pelt does. Sets up the score for the Raiders. Frank Hawkins takes it in. Point after was blocked, so it's 13-10 Los Angeles. But the Chargers have a chance to tie just before half, and Thomas misses again. 13-10 Raiders at halftime. Third period now. Raiders take the lead at 20-13. The Chargers tie right here. Fouts quickly to Lionel James. He turns it on 33 yards, and it's tied at 20. But the Raiders also score in a hurry. Wilson to Hester again. Bad tackling here. Hester goes 54 yards, and the Raiders are back on top by a score of 27-20. Fourth period now. Here's yet another reason why the Chargers wanted Gary Anderson. The pass. 21 yards to Gary Anderson, and it's all tied at 27. Now the Raiders take the lead in the final minutes. Wilson, 24 yards to Todd Christensen, 34. 27 Raiders. Now the Chargers tie it in the final minute. Dan Fouts beats the blitz. This to Charlie Joyner. And it's all tied up. It goes on to overtime, tied at 34. In the OT, Lionel James takes it right up the gut, 17 yards for the game winner, 40-34 Chargers in overtime. The Chargers are now 5-5, and they take on Denver next Sunday right here on 39.